Well, hello, hello. It's my birthday and I'll cry if I want to. Right? Right? Why not? I guess if we gotta get to cry and whine any day of the year, today is that day. Is today. Here very soon. This nice, beautiful blood moon that we're supposed to have. Yes, yes, very big blood moon, yes. We'll zoom in here in a little bit with my camera. Eh, doesn't really look all that blood to me. Oh, I'm sitting here looking at it. Yeah. Looks like pretty much just about every other moon. But alright. We'll call it a blood moon, since they want to say it is. So. What should we talk about, my brothers and sisters? Where are we gonna go? I don't know. I don't know. Where will we go? Oh. Oh, yeah. It's been a long week. Oh, it's been a long week. I've done a lot of live feeds. That's made the week a little bit longer. That's for sure. Yeah, it's been a long one. That's for sure. I cannot deny that. Kind of looking forward to my birthday. I'll make my famous kebabs. This, that, the other thing. I have lots of friends and family over. The greatest part about it is I'm gonna have the grandbabies. More than anything, that is I would say the greatest treasure that I'm gonna end up having for my birthday is I will have the grandbabies. They will be here to come swimming and come and hang out, and that is I can't think of a greater gift than them. And the greatest part about it is, they're the gift that keeps on giving, but at the same time, after a day or two, you always got to send them home. They're usually not even here that long, but if they are, you always got to send them home. So it's always very, very much just an awesome thing having the grandbabies here, and especially we're gonna have them here tomorrow to swimming, barbecue, all that. That'll be great. Well, I just kind of figured I really don't give two craps about just about anything. No, I'm just joking. So I figured I was just gonna go live and throw down a whole bunch of videos like usual. I have some really good ones, and it really sucks because I kind of want to get started, but kind of want to wait until there's a little bit of people here. And see, that's my weirdest problem. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go live at 11, and then I don't go live till after 12, and then I tell people, hey, I'm gonna go live at 12, and here I am at 11:15 going live. So, it is what it is. Oh, thanks for being here. Give me a thumbs up. It's supposed to help. Didn't plan on going live so soon, but here I am. Figured, well, might as well let you guys be here as I roll into my birthday. Don't worry, we still got 45 minutes. 42 minutes. All right, well, I was going to start some stuff. Thanks for being here, and we'll get started. But if there's anything that anybody is here that you want to go over or you want to talk about, I'm always here for that. We did a really good job last night. I know we didn't have a lot of people here, but there was somebody that actually needed some help and just advice. And not to say that any of us gave her any advice that she could use, but we actually were there for her. And the messages that I got from her today telling me how much she appreciated that meant the world to me. So that was awesome. That really that warmed my heart more than I can even explain. All right, well, I figured tonight we're gonna start off with some funny stuff. Are we ready? Steady, go.
I had
I love both of these guys. They're fucking geniuses.
Gavin McInnes, I was on his show recently. I had a hoot nanny of a time.
A hoot
And I have
nanny.
to tell you, it's an honor to have him here with me. He's an author,
I just gotta say, this is my favorite black man.
Gavin McInnes. Gavin McInnes, I was on his show recently. I had a hoot nanny of a time.
Hoot nanny, people. Hoot nanny.
It's an honor to have him here with me. He's an author, co-founder of Vice, host of Get Off My Lawn on CRTV, and founder of the Pro West fraternity, Proud Boys. Gavin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month.
Now July is White History Month?
Yes, I started it this year, and it's the first time that white people have been appreciated in a long time. And I figured that, we have so-called Black History Month, Homosexual History Month, Women History Month, Chinese History Month, Mexican History Month, everything but White History Month. And if it wasn't for white folks, there would be no America. And it's just time to realize that and start dealing with it.
Yeah, there's a museum in Ottawa, Canada, in my hometown. It's called the Museum of Civilization, and it's all about the people who built Canada, which is probably 80% Scots. And they have everything but Scottish people there. At one point, they've rebuilt a Cambodian laundromat in Calgary. So it has these mannequins folding your laundry as an integral part of what built Canada. And then a bunch of Native American art, which, was pre-Canada.
Yes.
It's bizarre how much animosity there is towards white people in the Western world these days.
I know, it's amazing. So what do you think of White History, July as White History Month? And I picked July because, as I've said over and over, July just seemed white. You have the 4th of July. It's in the air. It's everywhere. Vacation time. It's like you work all year, and now July. It just feels white.
Yeah, you're right. I love it. And I think we should have a moment during White History Month to talk about all the people who died, the 620,000 who died ending slavery in America.
100%.
All the Irish slaves who died,
brother.
all the children of the Industrial Revolution who were forced to work in the coal mines. We should have a big memorial for all the whites. And how about this? How about all the whites in history who have suffered from blacks, like when Hannibal and the elephants came up from Africa and took over Italy, or the Moors taking over Spain. All the horrible oppression whites have suffered over the years.
Amazing. Why do you think there is an attack upon white people, not just in America, but Europe and other areas? Why are white people so hated, but yet these people want to come to their country and take over?
We made the aqueducts.
I would say it's racism against blacks.
They hate us.
This constantly insulting white people is actually the bigotry of low expectations. And 100. It's saying that blacks, especially black women, can't handle criticism. They're too fragile. They're not good enough. So we'll attack the patriarch, the white male, because he can handle it. So by having this double standard, you're actually saying that whites can't handle the same criticism blacks can't handle the same criticism that whites can. For example, at my house with my kids, if my kids fart on me, it's not a big deal. I just go, hey, move or something. If they were to fart on their mother, that would be the end of days. I mean, you're in big trouble for that. We have a different set of rules for dad and mom because dad can take it. Dad can take the abuse.
I noticed that white men, and I've been warning them for the last 28 years, they have been afraid to speak up. They won't protect their children. They won't protect their families. And they send their children out into these universities and places like that. And their children are under serious attack. The white children are. But the parents just keep sending them back out of a fear of being called racist. Why do they love the blacks more than they love their own children?
Sometimes I think that it's a genetic trait in whites where they love self-flagellation, self-castigation. They don't like themselves. And this could be why Christianity did so well amongst white people, because we all want to be persecuted. We all want to be martyred.
Give a thumbs up.
I
It's supposed
honestly
to
think
help,
it might
please.
be a genetic trait because the way whites, talk about how horrible they are and try to prevent each other from existing. You have all these white women saying, I'm not going to have babies because they'll be white, and I hate whiteness. How many articles have you seen that talk about the unbearable whiteness of blah, blah, blah? And it'll be always a white author. I can't imagine a Japanese person writing that. I can't imagine a Mexican or a black person writing about the unbearable blackness of something. It's just unfathomable. And you can talk about socialization and slavery and all these other things, but we've had we never stopped having slavery, really. It's still going rampant in Libya today.
Right where
so I
it
don't
came
think
from.
it can be as simple as slavery. I think there's something genetic about white people where they just want to subsume guilt. They want to take on all the world's problems. And that's the only solution I can think of.
You founded a fraternity called the Proud Boys. Tell us about the Proud Boys. What is that? What's the purpose?
It's remarkably simple. It's just a men's club. It's like the hipster Shriners, but more blue collar. And they happen to love Trump, which all men's clubs really do. The Knights of Columbus, the Shriners, the Masons, they all love Trump. But this used to be the norm. From the year 0 till the year 1985, there was just clubs everywhere. Men would go out, just hang out with men, drink beer. They wouldn't have to, pull out chairs for ladies or anything, and they could tell off-color jokes. And then with feminism in the 80s, I guess that was the second wave, the Gloria Steinem feminism killed them.
Yeah.
Men ended up at strip clubs. That was the only place they could hang out where there was no ladies. Not women, but ladies. And I'm bringing it back. And I think the reason it exploded, and there's thousands of them all over the world, is because men really enjoyed having a place to stay at, being able to
be a man.
Just be men and have a totally woman-free zone. I think it's a totally natural thing, especially when you're married. Now, we ended up getting pretty violent, but it's because we were getting attacked. So there's sort of a second part of all this, where if Ben Shapiro or Lawrence...
The last thing I am is violent. I cannot count how many fights that I've been in my life, but the one thing that I always say, whether it was mainly my brothers, not mainly the fights, but the ones that hit me crooked. We're talking about brothers that are, 4 or 5 years older than me. And not one time has any one of them had the balls to come at me toe to toe. Every single time, it was from the side or from behind, without me knowing what was going to happen. If they hit me while they were looking at me, I didn't even know it was coming. Which I should have, but hey, I learned my lesson, whatever. But not one time, any time that I've been in a fight with anybody, not even just my brothers, I'm calling them out to be the worst because they're my brothers, and you should be like, hey, what's up, motherfucker? We're going toe to toe, bitch. But not one fight that I've ever been in has anybody squared off with me. I've always been hit from behind or from the side. And I always end up winning. And I always end up throwing the last punch. And I'm not trying to say that like I'm any badass motherfucker, this, that, or the other thing. But I am a midget. And I have been nothing but fucking shortcutted and fucking hit from the side. And I always win. It's kind of fucking funny and weird how that works. Never started one fight, never hit anybody first. Not one time in my whole life.
Southern or a friend of ours is doing a talk, we'll go with them and make sure they're safe, because Antifa is sort of the opposite of a men's club.
Yeah.
And they are ruthless felons, perverts, and lunatics armed to the teeth with hammers and brass knuckles and M80s and pepper spray, and they attack anyone who advocates free speech.
So do you guys meet? Is this do you get ever the whole organization come together and work on things?
Yes, I will be 34. Yes, thank you so much for being here. I will be 34 in 32 minutes. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it, like I always do. You know me, I just usually trying to spread truth and whatever I can give you guys. This is kind of some truth spreading with a little bit of hilarity. So I just really want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Please give a thumbs up. Supposedly it's supposed to help. And usually I can't even tell how many people are here because it won't even show me people are here as I'm getting 3 or 4 different people giving me comments. So thumbs up for whatever reason seems to help with that. So if you could do that, that'd be appreciated. If not, oh well. But yeah, no, I just want to tell you all thank you so much for being here.
We every year at a thing we call West Fest, where we just get hammered and hand out awards and stuff and beat each other up. We rarely get down to business, but it's exactly like the Knights of Columbus. There's chapters all over the world, and each chapter meets once a month, goes through the general affairs of the day and any problems we have, and we say, we chant USA and all this stuff, and then we get drunk. I mean, it's not rocket science, but in this day and age, it's considered a very controversial thing to be. It's very controversial if men want to hang out and not be ashamed of themselves, and if men want to fight back when getting attacked. Those are two very taboo things now.
Is it the organization, does it include all races of men or just white men?
All races of men, all sexual proclivities. We have gays, we have Jews, we have blacks, we have Indians, we have Asians. It's funny when we get attacked by Antifa for being racist, because inevitably the group that is attacking us is more white than we are. For example, the number 4 news story on Drudge today is that we all got kicked out of a bar in LA called the Griffin in Atwater Village.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was 19 guys, 3 white guys, 4 Jews, 10 Hispanics, 3 black guys. I forget the exact breakdown, but only 3 guys were non-Hispanic, non-Jewish. And we got swarmed by beta male comedians screaming, "No KKK, no Proud Boys, no USA," or whatever. They were all white. All of those guys were white.
Is Antifa the same group as Occupy Wall Street? They just changed the name? It's the same people.
They break down into different groups depending on where you are. They're usually the sons of academics. They're usually rich kids living at home. In Berlin, for example, they did a study and found out that 95% of these kids live at home. So you need to be, receiving free stuff to advocate for socialism. So they tend to be the children of academics. They don't even know what they're asking for. They are easy to fight. They're losers, especially in New York. But there's other places like Berkeley, California, where they're so entrenched that it's not just academics and the sons of academics. It is these wayward youth, these lost punk rockers. And they get taken in, and they get food and sustenance and a roof over their heads. And these poor bastards feel beholden to their hosts. So there are occasional total sociopathic, mentally damaged, I call them the Lost Boys, who are members of Antifa in Berkeley and Oakland. And those kids will stab you. I mean, they are like,
fuck yeah, they'll stab you in a fucking.
They are particularly dangerous.
Stick you twice quick with a nice pick.
And you can correct me on this if you like. I believe that it was a mistake for white Americans to allow people of color to come in. When I come back, I want you to respond to that. 888-7753.
All right.
888-77. Jesse.
Thanks for the thumbs up.
Gavin McInnes is with me. An amazing guy.
Yeah.
I was on his show. I had a hootenanny of a time. It was more than a notion. Back in a moment.
I'm sorry.
So, Gavin, I believe that it was a mistake to allow people of color into white countries. And the reason I believe that, because it's like you invite these people into your home and they turn on you. And I'm concerned that we're going to have the same situation in America that is happening in South Africa. The government now is black, and the ANC
South
controlling the government there, and white people are under serious attack. The white farmers are being robbed.
Okay. So what a lot of people don't know about South Africa, and they call this the Boers. I've ever looked into the Boer Wars, this, that, the other thing, whatever. These people went and literally took over a piece of land where thank you. Almost there. How much longer we got till my birthday? 27 minutes. But the Boers, they went in and they literally took over a piece of freaking land where nobody lived. Nobody lived there. And that's why they went there, because they said, we're going to go here. Nobody can live here. And nobody wants to live here. And we're going to come here and we're going to become the greatest farmers ever. And that's exactly what the Boers did. And then there was the Boer Wars, this, that, the other thing. But they did not take anybody's land. They went and settled land where nobody had ever fucking settled because it was too harsh. All right, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and get this going. Thank you guys, and I love you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Killed and just body parts cut off and all kinds of mess. Was it a mistake to allow people of color to move here?
No, I think that we've had a lot of immigrants over the years of color who are pro-Western. Britain is a great example of this, of the problems with immigration. They first had the Jamaicans come in, the Yardies they called them in the 70s. There was a little bit of turmoil, but they did great. And now if you go to a soccer match, there's a huge contingent of black geezers drinking Guinness and enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Then they did Indians. That also went very well. They didn't take any jobs. They added jobs. They're educated class.
Thanks for being here, guys. Give a thumbs up. It helps out.
Now they're doing Muslims.
Oh, thank you, love. Thank you for being here.
Well
give a thumbs up. It's supposed to help.
The Indians and the Jamaicans, they came from British
thank you
colonies,
so much.
So they understood the British mentality.
We only got about 25 minutes.
Islamists are there
really say happy birthday.
Column, and they even elected a mayor, Sadiq Khan, who told the populace, you don't have to assimilate. That's no longer part of the immigrant experience. Now, as far as America goes, we don't have that problem yet. I think a lot of immigrants who come here love America and want to be part of it. And we tend to get the cream of the crop when it comes to terrible countries like India and China.
5 p.m. Nice. Thumbs up, people. Give me a thumbs up.
I think they tend to assimilate.
Thank you for being here.
A couple generations in, they definitely don't develop this burning hatred like the Sarnev brothers where they want to blow up the place. But I think if we start taking more Muslims, then we're going to start seeing more immigrant animosity. So my problem isn't race. My problem is culture. And I think that Islam is the first culture that is turning out to be incompatible with the West.
Well, I've noticed that here in Los Angeles, a couple things are happening. One is over in South Central LA, or in the urban areas around, there's a major war happening between the blacks and the Mexicans, because the Mexicans, especially the illegals who are coming in, they hate black people. In Mexico, the blacks are second-class citizens. And so there's a major warfare going on in Compton. A lot of blacks have to get away in order to preserve their lives. And also in the areas, East LA and South Central LA, where the Mexicans are coming, it looked like Mexico. It no longer looked like you could drive like 4 or 5 blocks east and look like you entered Mexico. So they're not coming in either and just taking on the American way.
Yeah, you see that in Queens in New York and the Chinese areas where you'll see no English signs.
Right.
And as you walk down the street, you go, this is indistinguishable from Beijing. Yeah, I guess I was talking about the flyover states in the Midwest, but you're right. The coastal towns have got a totally different problem going on. And California...
One thing that I will say, there is a lot of bad shit that comes from Mexico, especially child sex slavery and this, that, and the other thing. But I will take Mexican people and Mexican descent all day over fucking Islam. Like, most Mexican people are good people. They're just like they're Western. I don't give a fuck. They literally got fucking Westernized before even the fucking Indians did. Think about it. They had the Spanish come over there. Why do you think they fucking? Why the fuck do you think they speak Spanish? Because the Spanish came over and fucking raped the Aztecs, and that's a fucked up thing. I'm not trying to be a dick, but happy birthday, man. Okay, all day long. But they were Westernized before anybody. You know, if you look at the Spanish people, like Spanish people are Westernized. When you start getting closer to South America, yeah, that's a different story. And it is funny. People are like, oh, there should be no borders. Well, Mexico has one of the toughest borders towards South America. Whatever. I'm going to stop yapping. Here we go. I love you all. Thank you for being here.
Is shockingly unique when it comes to this race war thing. The only thing more shocking is the total and utter silence from the press. But as I was saying to Tommy Sotomayor last night, they are throwing Molotov cocktails.
None of us do.
Into the homes of black people, aiming for the child's bedroom.
Hey, I don't know if I've helped or not. I truly hope that I have. But Annie, seriously, Annie Lemon. Um, she does a really good job. She actually finds really good stuff and she puts it on. She does really quick 2 to 3 minute videos for the most part. And she gives really, really good reporting. So anybody that has not checked her out, I want to tell you to check her out. She does a really good job, and they've shadow banned the shit out of her, just like me. But for whatever reason, I've noticed she's having this chance to grow right now, and she's growing, and it is great. Every single day, every single video I look at her, I look at how many subs she has, and it is always growing. I want to ask every single one of you to click on her and check her out, and definitely she will give you some damn good reporting on stuff that you might not be noticing or thinking about. She does a very good job. All right.
Maximized hair. They shot a 13-year-old girl who was just riding her skateboard. She has nothing to do with gang culture, because they are trying to ethnically cleanse the South Central and make it Mexican, and it's working.
Yeah.
They're doing a phenomenal job.
I can't stand her.
Erasing
I saw a little bit of it.
Race of people.
And you don't hear Maxine.
Sorry. Yeah, I saw a little bit of it, and it just kind of irritated me, and I just kind of blew it off and went somewhere else. Many happy returns. All right, awesome, thank you. But yeah, no, I a little bit, but I really didn't get through it. I'm sure if you make a video about it, I'll watch it and see.
Of the West, Jesse Jackson, the NAACP.
Come on, thumbs up, people. It's supposed to help. Come on, everybody, give me a thumbs up,
They're
please.
just allowing it to happen because they think somehow or another that these people are going to vote for them once they get into those communities. It's not going to happen. I got to ask you this: what is Western chauvinism?
Western chauvinism is an exuberant love of the Western world and everything the West brings. So that includes Western Europe, Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, parts of South America. I would say Chile is Western. And the Western values are really meritocracy. It has a backbone of Christianity, but it also is a system based on meritocracy. We don't advocate for socialism. And we basically say no matter who you are, we don't have a class system here the way the Brits do with their posh accents and their working class accents. No matter who you are, you can be rich if you bust your ass.
What's up, brother? Thank you for being here.
That is a very unique thing globally.
It will be.
Where everyone is equal in the
Happy birthday in 19 minutes.
And I don't think we appreciate it enough.
Yeah.
We poo-poo it.
We're running out of time together. I got to ask you this. I know that men are under attack. Men are the most, especially straight, white, conservative, Christian men of power.
All right, I'm going to be a little faggot here really quick. I just want to tell all of you, because we all know, I can guarantee most everybody here was probably to the point of where I was when I was younger. You went and partied, you wasted all of your damn time, and you did not give two shits. And now here you are on a fucking Friday listening to me. It amazes me sometimes when I think of everything and I'm like, man, who I used to be. I used to just want to go play pool, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. But complete douchebag. And then now, who I am, and I'm not to say that us sitting here doing this, but whatever, we're actually trying to have contact and communicate with people that have our like-minded views, and trying to learn and understand from other people and trying to help teach other people. We're doing something that is, it seems like it is so minuscule, but at the same time, I really think that it is something. I just want to say whatever. I ain't trying to be a gay fag, but, you know, I love you all and thank you for being here.
The most hated species on this side of heaven. What is a man?
A man is someone who has beaten the crap out of someone, had the crap beaten out of him, broken a heart, and had his heart broken.
Damn right.
If you've endured those four things,
I lost somebody
you
for
are
what I
a
said.
real man.
Well, Joel, you must be a real man. my audio engineer here. And what is love?
Love is it's invented by God. It is sewn into our DNA.
100.
And when you love someone, you are eternally devoted to them. You want to breed with them. You want to make more of you. I think it's a chemical reaction that God set off. And once you love someone initially, you make babies with them. You love them for life. And it's irrevocable. And it's a feeling that's difficult to articulate. But basically, you would take a bullet for them. And
100.
they go above you in many ways.
Is it, am I right in that white people need to start making more babies? They need to do what the Mormons
Yes,
are
we
doing?
do.
Just start back to have babies everywhere?
That's my monologue you just stole from my upcoming show on Friday, CRTV Tonight. The one thing the right and the left have in common when you see these pundits on TV is they don't have kids and they don't get married. Most of my friends don't have kids.
Okay, listen. Okay, every country that is taking in more refugees than they can even freaking handle, than they're being choked to death. Every single one of those countries is run by people that don't have kids. You know, the bloc countries. You know, when you're talking about Hungary, freaking what is it? The first four. There's more now, but the first four. What? Hungary, Poland, whatever the hell. You see these bloc countries that are ran that said, "Oh hell no, I'm not. We're not taking any migrants, and we'll put up fucking fences." These fucking countries, the people that run those countries have kids. That is the funny thing, is you can almost look at just what the politics and what the rhyme and reason is just by knowing if they have kids. Every country that is letting in more migrants than you can even understand, they have no kids. Who is the leader of that country? You go to the countries that aren't letting them in, they all have kids. Imagine that. Oh my God, how can we do math and start to learn anything? Maybe we could learn something from that. Oh, but no, we're too fucking stupid for. Oh fuck, I'm getting a little bit like Jeff. I love you, Jeff.
They haven't been married. We need that's all that matters is more American families, black families, white families, more Western families, more dads sticking it out. I know you had a fight with your wife. You're going to sleep on the couch for 3 days. I'm sorry to hear that. Try not to get so drunk you wet the couch. But that's just part of life. Endure it. It's what makes entire communities thrive, and that's what America is. It's just a series of communities. And without families, you can't have communities. Without communities, you can't have a country. And without a country, you have Armageddon.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm Roman Catholic.
Right on. You know, I really appreciate coming there, going there, and was on your show with you. I had a lot of fun. What did you think of the interview with you?
I thought we barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
I feel like you and I have to sit down for 7 hours to really hash it all out.
Yeah.
You know, I find when you talk to curious people who've looked stuff up, you inevitably are going to agree. It's very rare that you have all the data and you've talked it out and you presented both sides and you've looked up all the things the other guy's saying and you still disagree. I'm at the point now where I don't even believe in opinions. Like, people come up to me and they go, especially black guys, they'll say, "Yo, I disagree with a lot of what you have to say, but I respect that you speak your mind." And I'm like, what specifically do you disagree with? Let's hash it out right now.
That's right. Do you have a website? I mean, I know you have a website. What do you want to give out for the folks here? We're running out of time.
CRTV.com. If you use the passcode Gavin, you get $10 off. It's $10 a month. You can see my 2 shows. My podcast, by the way, also called Get Off My Lawn, is free. And there's a myriad of other shows on CRTV.com. It's definitely worth the 2 beers a month in fees.
I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I hope we meet again soon.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Take care now. Amazing.
All right,
I
love
need y'all
that guy.
to subscribe,
I
support us on Patreon, like us on Facebook.
Okay. Gavin McGinnis is awesome, and definitely, what is it, Jesse Lee Peterson, or I think that's the black guy's name. He's like, I think my favorite black person ever. And I even hate to say that because it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter that he's black. What I love about him and how he thinks is he thinks that it is stupid for a black person to call themselves an African American. And he's like, no, I'm an American. And he even says that and talks about that. And I've watched, man, probably at least 20 hours of that guy's stuff, if not more. And he I mean, he's really there with God, and he's really understanding. And I mean, he grew up on a plantation, this, that, their fucking thing, and he saw what Jim Crow laws was before and after, and all this, and he gets into some really crazy stuff. And it is weird because blacks owned a lot of land, and their own land, they had their own doctors, their own stores when there was Jim Crow laws, and 9 out of 10 black men were in the home back then. And then after Jim Crow laws, 50, 60, 70 years later, look where we're at. And there's only 2 out of every 10 black men still in the home. Kind of weird. There's been some social engineering going on that we're really not seeing, and it's done very slowly. Like, these people aren't. It hasn't been a fast agenda. It's been a slow agenda because they know that they could not have it be fast, or they would be called out and seen for it. And we even call them out and see it for them now, even though they're slow.
Well,
Here's
here we
Jeff.
are again. Another glorious day, right?
You know what? We're gonna go for a couple minutes of Jeff. All right.
The aluminum and barium, strontium,
We're gonna do a little bit of our brother
the
Jeff.
smoke-filled skies, fires. If you happen to be lucky enough to live in an area with trees, it's good shit. Makes for a pretty night. The moon is blood red right now.
I'm looking at it. It doesn't look blood red to me though. I'm serious. I'm looking at it. I got my PS900.
Fires burn hotter. They'll tell you this too. Global warming, right? Let's see. We'll take a piece of cedar, all right? And at bone dry, okay? Kilned, bone dry. It burns at a certain BTU, okay? It only burns so hot. That's how hot that wood burns. Oak, onward and onward. They'll tell you, fuck, we've never seen anything like this. Fuck, just melting shit. Oh well, fucking hey. Well,
Go on, Jeff, get it out.
Does
Come on.
not change how hot something can burn, all right? So, see, they're giving you the clue. They're telling you. It's burning hotter. We've never seen nothing like this shit. Fucking
All right.
going up like road flares.
Pulling up my camera from the store review
Overcoming
last
houses.
night.
Boom. Like a wave.
All right.
That's good shit. But science doesn't matter if it's 10 below zero, okay? As long as that wood's dry, this is what temperature is going to burn. This is what temperature the furniture burns at, but without the house, okay? Just the fucking trees. So if it's burning hotter, okay, because at 10 below zero and at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a hot motherfucker, temperature's going to be the same as that goddamn fire. Not anymore. Fuck. Why is that? Anyone ever made any thermite? It's very easy to do. Main ingredient, aluminum. Very, very fine. Okay, use Isn't that the shit they're dumping out of the planes?
Damn right.
Maybe, huh? And iron oxide, that's rust. Well, you can find that shit everywhere. It's abundant. Well, anyway, who knows? Right?
Impossible task.
Just thought I'd
Actually.
bring it up. Now, all of this distraction. Oh, and that's what it is. Because it's fucking retarded.
Damn it.
Think to yourself, would you put up with this shit if you were the president? Okay? Have your hands
Thank you.
tied.
Oh, 6 minutes and it's my birthday. All right, let's go to some. All right, this motherfucker right here. Sorry, I'm showing his shit because this motherfucker, like, he calls out so much truth. It's fucking stupid. I love it. Yes, he has a scary mask. A little scary, yes. I understand why he does it in that way, but that motherfucker calls out a lot of truth, and he does a really fucking good job at it. Like, you can tell he's passionate. Like, that's what I love about him, is you feel the passion of him, because he cares about what he's doing. He's trying to open people's fucking eyes the best way that he can. And all I can say is I got mad love and mad respect for the motherfucker. Alright, so I'm going to show you some of me looking at stars. Yes, last night. Very much. Are you ready? Yes. Sorry. That's weird. Why the fuck is it not coming? Alright, let's get irritated. Why would I need to raise the flag? Okay. Give me 2 seconds to get irritated. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Alright. Let's see what the hell this is supposed to be. I don't know about you, but that don't look like no star to me. Very hard to stay focused on. Alright, let's back up. Come on, back up. Yeah, this is a complete, insane, impossible task to actually keep this thing anywhere in the middle, especially when you zoom in so much. But alright, the supposed thing that's a supposed star, let's see what the heck it really is. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, what the heck are you?
I was a little tested. Sorry about that. But that was funny.
Such a pain in the ass once you lose it out of frame. Alright.
I have older videos that I at least know are decent, so I will pull one of those up. No, seriously, alright, give me 2 seconds. I apologize. Come on. You should have something at least funny to say to each other. Oh, okay. Here we go. Alright. This is kind of gold. Are you ready? Steady. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there we go.
Is that any star that anybody else has ever been?
Oh, happy birthday to me. Yes. It is my birthday finally.
That's not a star.
Have a beer. Okay, well, this is irritating because this is supposed to actually be showing you guys. Thank you, thank you. You know what? I'm gonna have a shot of some Kraken. How about that? What? Okay, what the hell is this? I'm getting irritated.
Star that anybody else has ever
Why is it not showing? It doesn't need the flash. Just play. There we go.
Is there
Alright.
any star that anybody else has ever been told about? I don't know.
This is about 6 months ago.
That is a cage that looks like it has a fallen angel locked in it. What
I
do you
was a little
think?
tested.
Because that's no star I've ever fucking seen. So that's the stars and the planets that are supposedly out there. That right there. That looks more like a fucking angel. Like, what is this supposed to be? Seriously.
This is with my PX 900.
I want to know. Look at all these colors coming out of it. Look how crazy this thing is. What the hell is that? Wow, thanks to my uncle I never had. Gave me this badass camera. Look at this crazy ass shit,
I was having a party and people were fucking arguing in the background. Sorry.
Somebody's daughter, well, I guess she needs a man.
This is hilarious. Yeah, I don't even remember who the fuck that was.
Sorry, kind of doing two things at once right here, people.
Look at that shit. What the fuck is that? That's a planet or a star? No, that's a vibration. Give me a minute. I'll get it pulled up. It's a fucking vibration. Look at it. Look at that shit. It's pulsing. It's not a fucking star. It's not a planet.
That's a star? That is not a star. What is that?
Sorry, there is idiots yapping.
You don't resist them. How do you resist them and not resist them?
I'm just letting it go. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, that's a good way to get rid of people. No, that was too fucking funny. Yeah, I don't even remember. I was getting hella good footage, and we had people over. We were having a party or whatever, and yeah, there was just people arguing in the background, and I did not give two shits. I just walked away from all their bullshit crap, and I just started recording that. So that's what all that background noise was. I apologize for that. I just thought it was kind of fucking funny. All right, ready, steady, go. What do we got?
A group of parents came to me not too long ago and expressed.
Okay, this guy's got good shit, but we're not there yet.
Hey,
Comedian Sacha Baron Cohen came out swinging on the premiere of his new series, Who is America?, where he went undercover to get congressmen to support a program.
Yeah, I don't think we're there either. No thanks.
with Upnest, expert real estate agents in your area compete.
Irritating. One.
Compete to save you money when buying or selling your house. Jen, down here.
Alright, this fucking broad's the shit.
Hello, my beautiful people. I hope that you are doing well this fine, fine day. I highly suspect.
You're going to want to pay close attention to this. Inside this video, I'm going to talk about 3 metabolic zones that reactivate.
Nobody asked to hear about your
belly fat. Now, this is specifically designed.
what the fuck. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Comedian Sacha Baron Cohen came out.
What the
Harvard
F?
sorority just announced they're going.
Give me a damn break. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Sorry.
A group of parents came.
Okay. I'm about to get irritated.
Comedian Sacha Baron Cohen.
Really? Here we go. My goodness.
Hello, my beautiful people. I hope that you are doing well this fine, fine day. I highly suspect that Hello, my beautiful people. I hope that you are doing well this fine, fine day. I highly suspect that Black Pigeon Speaks is a wolf in sheepdog's clothing, seducing and leading his followers to embrace the leftist, collectivist ideology. Oh, and he's not the only one. Now, this was never more evident than in his last video titled, Why Radical Individualism in a Tribalized Society Won't Work. BPS claims that the solution to the terrible, terrible idea that millennials prefer socialism and open borders, i.e. global collectivism, is to embrace national or ethnic-driven collectivism. Question: how old is BPS? Which generation does he belong to? I found a picture. I think it might be him. I'm not sure. If so, he looks to be a millennial. Interesting. Point 1, Jordan Peterson is not a boomer. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Also, I'll leave a link to BPS's video in question. I'm not going to clip it or take any snippets from it. So just go off, enjoy, see what you think about it. Now, a viewer had asked me a while ago with regards to my video Controlled Opposition, A Wolf in Sheepdog's Clothing. How would that exactly work out in the real world? Well, let's try to answer this today. First and foremost, BPS comes out swinging against Jordan Peterson. A quote from BPS's video. Professor Jordan Peterson, who, while a sage in much of his advice, looks increasingly to be a completely out of touch boomer when it comes to his calls for radical individualism in response to the societal death rattle of political fragmentation currently looming over the United States and the wider Western world. Now, BPS is a seducer, which is evident in how he speaks, the way he uses his words, and loves to put an embedded emotional spin perfectly into his carefully worded sentences. Think about the quote I just read and his emotional cues he likes to use. A tactic of the left, by the way. Out of touch boomer. Radical individualism. Radical individualism. Because, hey, it's radical to want to be a free man. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. And of course, my favorite, death rattle of political fragmentation. Oh, and don't get me wrong. I love how BPS talks. It reminds me of some of the greatest authors in this world. Just a great job. BPS has 365,000 followers.
What type of beer are you having for me?
He is safe from losing his job and can easily be supported financially by his followers. This is important to note, but why? Who hides their face? What kind of leader are you if you don't even have the courage to show your face? He wants you to be brave, you to submit to the
Alright, I'm gonna let her keep going here in a second. She is she's a beautiful goddess, and she's smart, and she's funny. She's triple threat. Definitely you should check her out. Alright. So should we have some Kraken? I think we should have some Kraken. I shouldn't get too crazy because, I mean, tomorrow is when I really am going to be getting crazy. Well, I guess it's already tomorrow, isn't it? Yes, it is. Oh. Alright, well, I need a glass at least. Don't mind me, I'm an ass. See this bullshit? So like cat food everywhere. Fucking chicken came in, taking out the cat food. Got scared, knocked it all over. Been waiting to clean it up. I figured that hopefully the cats and the chicken would eat it. No. They're so fucking special. That's too much for them. Hello. Hopefully there will be enough beer for tomorrow. That I am really hoping, because I'm not buying more. Oh, no. Of course. Preaching shit. Well. Alright. Let's stop getting redundant. 2 seconds.
Collective, which is leftism, while he conveniently stays hidden, safe in the shadows. He is safe. Are you? But many still are confused by the term of individualism versus collectivism, but I don't think BPS is. He wants you to be a collective, conveniently controlled by leftist dogma. But hey, it's your collective, right? So it's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to explain this now, and I'm going to let you decide. Collectivism versus individualism is a concept of a state of mind. In the simplest of economic terms, the truly free market is individualism, whereas socialism and communism is collectivism. Owning private property, that is individualism. No property rights, that is collectivism. The expropriation of land from white people in South Africa without compensation, that's collectivism, etc., etc. Socially, teaching kids that boys are evil, females are victims, and yielding to whatever religious ideology is the majority, that is collectivism. Forcing little boys and girls who are a little bit too active onto dangerous medications to sit still in class, that's collectivism. The right to bear arms, individualism. The right to homeschool, individualism. Now, you see what's happening here is that philosophers have long debated over whether it is the collective or the individual who should be viewed as superior and of more value. But as we know, there's a consensus, which you can see in Peterson versus Black Pigeon Speaks. This is an important topic because it is a fundamental building block of how society is organized, and which in turn determines each individual citizen's quality of life. Individual freedom is essential for lasting peace and prosperity. Again, is the free market, that is individualism, which has rose more people out of poverty. Communism, socialism, collectivism, it drives people in the opposite direction. So one has to ask, should the goal of the collective be more important than the goal of the individual? The doctrine of methodological individualism holds that only individuals act, and any action by a collective can ultimately be reduced to the actions of various individuals. Think about the TERFs versus the transgenders right now. Here's a quote from The Ultimate Foundation of Economic Science by Mises. Quote, in denying independent existence of their own to the collectives, one does not in the least deny the reality of the effects brought about by the cooperation of individuals. One merely establishes the fact that the collective comes into being by the thoughts and actions of individuals, and that they disappear when the individual adopts a different way of thinking and acting. Often, those who favor collective positions will try to assert some kind of independent existence to their collective in order to justify the elevation of its goals. Give up your freedom so that we can do this. Here's something that is often overlooked by collectivists. The creation of a collective is an arbitrary process. Basically, no collective includes the entirety of mankind criteria, and it must be established, thus distinguishing who can and who cannot be part of your collective. However, as we have seen throughout history, there is no set way to determine a criteria, and this is why throughout history collectives have taken so many different forms and inevitably eat their own members. Think back to the LGB lobby and how it now eats away at the L and the G and the B, the original creators of the collective. And think about the feminist collective. It's now eating away at females. You have to remember that each collective is exactly like your collective. All of them believe they are the superior dogma and that their goals must be met. Another quote from Theory and History. There is no uniform collectivist ideology, but many collectivist doctrines. Each of them extols a different collectivist entity and requests that all decent people submit to it. That. Each sect worships its own idol and is intolerant of all rival idols. The goals of a collective are never really the goals of an autonomous collective, as no such thing exists. The collective goals are merely the goals of those who exert the power or the influence over the collective at any given time. The more collective a country, the more prone that country or state is driven toward totalitarianism. And if you don't believe me, look at what's happening to these socialized countries in Europe. The more social welfare programs that they introduced, the more the government got power. And what did the government do with that power, that collective power? Well, they opened the floodgates, and now countries are crippled by the collective social welfare programs. The problem? Oh, it's immigration. But would that be a problem in a free market without welfare programs? No. Another quote from Human Actions, quote, "It is true that every variety of collectivism promises internal peace starting with the day of its own decisive victory. However, the realization of these plans is conditioned upon a radical transformation in mankind. Man must be divided into two classes, the omnipotent godlike dictator, or in modern words, government. Okay, on the other hand, the masses, which must surrender volition and reasoning in order to become mere chess pieces in the plans of the..."
100%. You gotta understand, if you're relying on them, you have to agree with everything that they want. That's what the left is all about. It's disturbing.
Dictator. There is no need to point out that such designs are unrealizable. Okay, this is running a little bit long, so I'm going to end it with a quote. And I will leave a link, all the sources below. Quote, "Somewhere there are still peoples and herds, but not where we live. My brothers, here there are just states. State? What is that? Well then, open your ears to me, for now I shall speak to you about the death of peoples. State is the name of the coldest of all cold monsters. Coldly, it tells lies too, and this lie crawls out of its mouth. I, the state, am the people. That is a lie. Behold how it lures them, the all too many, and how it devours them, chews them, and ruminates. As I have stated many times, be mindful of the Pied Piper and understand who it is you are following, lest you be led off a cliff.
Amen.
Stay well, my friends. Stay well.
Yeah, this day is an arm of the beast, but what we're gonna hope for is that we put a stop to all of that. No, this girl is a
The
true
Chinese, in
goddess.
search of a superlative, used to say, as rich as
You
Cambodia.
can go back and see and find who she is, but yeah, she does great work. She's on point. She cares. She's got love. She's got heart behind her. So you should definitely check her out. I forget her name, but if you actually go back on the video, you know, you can just go back to where it began with it. And I started with her intro. So if you just go back, sorry, I know I should know these things. I apologize. But if you just go back, like I said, and it'll show you the intro of who she is. Sorry, man. Apologize. I suck. I need to figure out the computer shit, but I just try to do what I can. I appreciate you guys being here.
Welcome to the Watchman
I
YouTube
just,
channel.
you know, for me, what I would be out doing right now would be playing pool, trying to get laid. Well, not trying to get laid, getting laid. No, just joking. And I am so happy just being here doing this. That's insane to me. If you would have ever told me that at 20, even 25, I would have laughed at you. And I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'd ever be that person. I love just being here, just doing this. It actually means the fucking world to me, amazingly enough. Whatever. I'm fucking sissy lala. Alright, here we go.
Welcome to the Watchman YouTube channel. This channel is all about world news and Bible prophecy, pointing to the soon return of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Jesus said, as a sign of his coming and the end of the age, there would be an increase in deception, false Christs who will deceive many, wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes, Christian persecution, apostasy, false prophets, and lawlessness, causing the love of many to grow cold. Jesus said all of these signs would come like birth pains. Jesus was likening last days events to a woman in labor. As the labor progresses, the pains increase in both frequency and intensity until the baby finally comes. As we get closer to Jesus' return, all the signs he gave us as a sign of his coming and the end of the age will become more frequent and more intense. All of these signs are manifesting around the world in our time. Matthew 24, 6 and 7. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled.
I do all that except I don't go out and get laid anymore. I'm a good little boy now. But no, I used to. Yes, I used to. And sometimes I still dream of doing it, but I don't. I'm with somebody that I love. I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for being here. Give a thumbs up. Supposedly it's supposed to help.
For all these things must come to pass.
But thank you
the
for
end
being
is not
here.
yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Nation is the Greek word ethnos, which means a race, as of the same habit, i.e. a tribe, especially a foreign, non-Jewish one, Gentiles, usually by implication, pagan. What I believe Jesus is saying here is that there have always been wars and rumors of wars. But when you see the same ethnic group fighting the same ethnic group, i.e. Arab against Arab, coupled with wars and rumors of wars, now his return is near. This is what we are seeing all over the world and the Middle East.
A rare attack in the government-held town of Sweda. Syrian state television says a suicide bomber blew himself up in the market, and 2 more attackers were killed before they could detonate their explosives, according to the reports.
We heard the sounds in the early morning. People started screaming, "There's an explosion, stay away."
ISIL has claimed responsibility for the attack. It says it targeted government soldiers. The group has lost huge swathes of territory over the last few years. One of the last pockets of territory that ISIL controls is here behind us in the southern Golan Heights. Now, the bombardment has also been very close to the fence with the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. There's been an intensive campaign underway by the Syrian government and its Russian ally to take it back. The Israeli army is keeping a close eye on what is happening.
No, our country to a point is losing its mind, but here's one thing. Don't forget this. Listen. This is the fringe of our country. These people are not our countrymen. You gotta understand, there's 300 million of us that are really Americans, that really have values and love this fucking country. We're dealing with maybe 1 million or 2 radical idiots. But how the media pushes it, it looks like it could be a civil war throughout the whole country. It's not. There's not enough of them. They are nothing. There are so many patriots and there's so many everything. They push this bullshit forward. And it is the biggest lie in the fucking world. Trust me. A house divided cannot fall. Or a house divided cannot stand. Is that not right? Well, here's the thing is, we're the biggest house that's ever fucking stood, as far as we know. You know, I think a lot of history is a lie, but whatever. As far as we know, we're the biggest, toughest fucking everything. Look, less than 10% of our population stood up to the British because of a 1% tax. Now we're sitting here being taxed more than 50%. And there is way more than 10% of our population that would stand up. That's why our country is trying everything they can to divide us and destroy us. Because they know all it's going to take, even 10% of our population standing up right now, even 5. I mean, really standing up, they couldn't stop it if they even they had the UN come in. And that's why they've changed all the laws and Obama and all that bullshit and Hillary and passed all those laws so that they could come in, because they know we're patriots. And there's no way we're going to fucking bend over and say, can I have another? Well, yeah, to a point, they do want our guns. Yes, I will not deny that. But at the same time, it doesn't really fucking matter. They're starting to put 5G up. They've already admitted you have to have a 5G little tower on every telephone pole every 1,000 feet. Like, this shit's coming in. They don't need to take anybody's guns. They can radiate your fucking eyeballs like they're fucking eggs frying in a pan. That's where we're going to. Did nobody hear about the guy in Ireland or whatever that realized what was going on and how bad the towers were? No, I think not Ireland. He was in, I did a video about it last night. I think he was in Australia, and he ran over 8 fucking towers. He literally used his buddy's tank and ran over 8 towers, 5G towers, because he knew what was going on, and he told the higher ups, and they fired his ass for it, and nobody would listen, so he ran over them. 20 months in jail, and he said it was worth it. And you know what? I think if any one of us ever did something like that, I think it'd be well worth it. 20 months in jail for taking out 8, death towers and getting people to actually talk about it. Oh, fuck yeah. That's worth it.
Russian jets roar through the sky before unloading their explosives. We've seen Syrian jets too. One of which was downed on Tuesday by 2 Israeli Patriot missiles.
Here are the 5 key superfoods that you need to be eating.
Yeah, 5G literally rocks all of your cells and kills the shit out of you.
We heard the warning sirens go off. We immediately saw this field on fire, and we moved closer to find out what we could see. We weren't the only ones. These Israeli soldiers arrived soon after to inspect the ground. Another field on fire, and this one right opposite the offensive against ISIL and in the area where the jet went down. On Wednesday, both Syrian and Russian jets were back in the sky. Sources tell us that the Syrian government is sending reinforcements to this area. And once it succeeds here, it will be back in control of all of southwest Syria.
This has been quite the turbulent week for Israel, with threats on 2 fronts that have threatened to boil over into an all-out war. Syria has vowed an eventual revenge for the downing of one of its fighter jets yesterday after it breached Israeli airspace, triggering IDF anti-aircraft defense systems. We've confirmed that the pilot in that plane was killed in the crash. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations says Israel actually attempted to contact the pilot too before shooting down his aircraft. Needless to say, this incident is the most explosive yet in the ongoing clash of tens on the Israel-Syrian front. Israel hasn't shot down a Syrian fighter jet in a number of years, but security officials say that regardless of what the pilot's reasons were...
Yeah, nobody wants to admit it. Yeah, but pretty much, yeah. Put an egg in the microwave. Yeah. No, nobody wants to admit it. It's a fucking kill grid. There was a firefighters union, and they had, sorry, I'm kind of hungry. And they had cell phone towers put on top of their fire stations. And all of a sudden, the firefighters, they couldn't concentrate, this, that, and other thing. So they got them taken off, and they ended up, not taken off, they actually moved to they moved their fire station to where they didn't have cell phone towers, on top of them. Everything went away. And it was proven, and the Firefighters Association literally really has fought against this shit, and this shit is over a decade old. The beginning of them fighting against it. And these motherfuckers sit there and put it on top of our schools and our hospitals and all around us, and they say it's okay. And now they're going 5G that is even more intense because it supposedly can't travel so far. But it's so much more intense. So, yeah, it's insanity. They're going to fry us all. My father was a microwave engineer for 20 years. So, I would imagine he probably knew a lot about this shit. Nobody wants to admit how horrible this shit is. That's the most disturbing and scary part about it all. And when you do have somebody that's willing to admit it, they're called a fucking conspiracy theorist. It's fucking bullshit.
This outcome was the only one possible once his plane breached Israeli airspace. Though Syrian officials have condemned Israel's actions and promised that a response is coming soon enough, the front lines are relatively calm 24 hours later. Things have similarly resumed an eerie calm on the Gaza border, despite clashes earlier this week that very nearly erupted into conflict. Last weekend, Palestinian snipers in the Strip targeted and killed an IDF soldier on the border. Israel retaliated by pummeling dozens of...
Alright, this isn't even what I'm trying to get into. I don't even know why I'm on that. Give me a second. Apologize. The head's kind of been in a lot of places. I've been dealing with a lot of bullshit. Yeah. But yeah, so
I'm sure that many of you are already aware that there's been an awareness or a movement that started years ago. You can see this article is from 2013 and it had 293,000 shares. So if you're watching this video, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this. But I want to start out here anyway, talking about the change in the music industry, changing from 432 hertz, which was the natural organic A, to a 440 hertz. So now there's a movement where people are saying, run your music through a converter and convert it back. Because you really can't tell the difference. It doesn't change the music enough sound-wise, just superficially sound-wise, that you'd say, oh, that doesn't sound like the same song now. But it does change the underlying, those tones, how they affect your mood, how they affect your depression, how they affect, all sorts of things. They even affect your DNA. They affect the water molecules in your body. They affect many things scientifically and biologically. So you can maintain the integrity of the song and de-weaponize it. Because many people realize now that until the late 1930s, which, that was the same time that World War II was cooking up and the same time that the Nazis were doing all of this research and everything. So it's no coincidence that that was the exact era that they began weaponizing music, and they changed it to 440 hertz. Somehow, even though technically World War II had already started because Nazi Germany had already invaded Poland, but somehow they were able to overlook their differences and come together on this music conference, and all the nations in Europe simultaneously changed over and started having all their symphonies and everything play in the 440 hertz and tune all instruments and all the music stores and everything from the 440 hertz. And of course, we know the propaganda minister, everybody was set up by the Rothschilds, and we know all of this. We understand all of this, but for some reason we don't seem to be taking this seriously, that there is weaponized music, and every one of our children and adults have these earbuds in that are retuning their brains for destruction, the entire Western world. And then by 1953, it became the ISO 16 standard. So I want to talk about that a little bit and even take it further and show you how the occult has indeed systematically used the music industry for mind control with frequencies, as well as just the social and the peer pressure and all of that. And I want to take it through all of the stages, from the 1940s to the 1950s to the Vietnam War era, into the 1970s, into the raves and everything now, and how the deep state CIA have used these psychotronic weapons in the music industry, and how they are directly related to the deep state occult practices and the Luciferian practices, and that they've done this wittingly. They have literally weaponized the music industry and the actual music frequencies.
You just have to go out into the street and take a look around. What do you see? School kids, young adults, on their way to work. And what do they all have in common? iPods or MP3 players. Ingenious, isn't it? They are successfully lowering the vibrations of not only the young generation, but the rest of us as well. These destructive frequencies entertain thoughts towards destruction, disharmony, and disunity. Through the ages in which classical music was tuned to 432 hertz.
So no matter what, nobody forget, like, seriously, we're using the devil black screen. We're literally, this is the devil's technology. This is the black goo, black energy, whatever the hell. And we're still able to actually use it against him, which is such a great advantage. And at the same time, it's, we still have to go into his realm and use his fucking tools against him. But never forget, that's what these things are. They're devil black boxes. They're black screens. They are the devil. TV, this, that, and these. But what they did not expect, I promise you, my brothers and sisters, all of you all. I'm not trying to be a gay fag, fucking whatever the hell. Whatever, I don't care if people are gay. Whatever, you know me. But no, what these were meant to literally dumb us down, and we've actually been smart enough to use them against them. Never stop using their weapons against them. All right, here we go.
This frequency is said to be synonymous with organic projections from nature, human beings being a projection, of course, of nature. So
Yes,
432
it is.
hertz was the frequency in which instruments pre-1939, again, for the most part, was used in Europe and around the world. But that all changed in 1939 when an international conference held in London recommended strongly that the world frequency, at least in regards to tuning instruments, be changed to 440 hertz. After this date, the BBC, among many others around the world, required their orchestras to tune to 440 hertz. This slowly changed the tuning mechanics, now being used as an industrial standard, to 440 hertz. A major change from the organic 432 hertz to the 440 hertz. Only 14 years later, in 1955, 440 hertz became the standard that was adopted by industrial standards worldwide. The question people are now asking is, was there a more sinister reason for the change? Since a number of researchers have stated that people feel differently under the long-term influence of music and broadcasts at 440 hertz than they actually do at the natural organic broadcast of 432 hertz.
So let's go over just a few of the scientific implications of these numbers. If you've watched my channel before, you know I'm always talking about frequencies and how the dimensions, physicists have discovered that there actually are other dimensions. And the Bible has long told us that. We've known that forever. We call them spiritual realms, but now the physicists confirm that. They just call them dimensions. I'm not going to go into all that right now because I've done several videos on it.
Shit, sorry guys.
For the purposes of this video, I want to talk about the math and frequencies in respect to music. Like I discussed in all those videos, that these frequency dimensions come in octaves, like a rainbow.
Yep.
So this math could be described as music. The matrix, the creation that we live in, could be described as a song or the word of God. And as with any song, people who play music and can read music, they know you have to keep time.
She does a good job.
Keep time. So this frequency.
Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt what she's doing, because she does a great job. But no, her channel is awesome because she actually does really good research, and she actually is thinking about what she's trying to teach you. And what's funny is how I look at it is, I have many great people that I follow. And I follow them because they do good research. But you never completely believe everything that somebody... It's not that you don't believe them, but you don't agree with them. I would say out of... is one of my top 5-10 people that I follow. And I agree with more with her than most people. I love her. I got mad respect for her.
Range of music, which used to be 432, is now being changed to 440. So it could be said that someone is changing time. Someone's messing with time. And of course, we know who that someone is. Or those of us who are awake know who that someone is.
No, and isn't that funny that they do really disgrace the rainbow, because all these we know who use it as their thing, but it's actually, they do it backwards, because what the real rainbow is, they do it upside down or backwards, and that's satanic. Oh, thank you for being here, love. Thank you. Thank all of you for being here. Thank you very much. Tomorrow's probably going to be crazy. But I'm still happy to be here with you guys right now. Hey,
25.
Whether I have 20 or 40 freaking people here tomorrow, who knows? Hopefully it's not 50. I think I'll have enough kebabs if it is. But no matter how many people I end up having here tomorrow, you guys are the first people that are here to tell me happy birthday and to be here and bullshit with me. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to be stupid and go live during my own birthday. I don't know. But if I don't see you guys or talk to you guys tomorrow, I just want to tell you I love you guys so much and thank you so much for being here. And look at all these thumbs up I'm getting, man. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, what the hell? Okay, I just got 4 thumbs up and it doesn't even show me I have 4 people on here. This is how much they hate me and fuck with me. No, it's thank you. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. All right, here we go.
Antichrist, right here. And he shall speak blasphemies against the Most High God, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change times and laws. And people in times past, before technologies like we have today,
now it says 9 for me.
What CERN is doing, and already having broken the sound barrier, and all of these things, you know, they're like, oh, times are changing, right? He's just trying to change political laws or whatever. But that's not what this verse is talking about. It's talking about this Antichrist is trying to change time and laws. Laws, and that word is like the laws of God, the laws of the universe. Like you might say the law of gravity. It's a law. Side note to you flat earthers, just for the record, I believe in buoyancy and the density of atomic matter. So you guys will know what I'm talking about with that. But for the sake of being able to communicate to the masses, it's like the law of gravity. It doesn't matter. God's laws, the laws of the universe, are law. It doesn't matter if you believe in them or not. God's law is law. The laws of physics are laws. If you off a 60-story building, it doesn't matter if you believe in the law of gravity or not. You'll believe it when you hit the sidewalk, because it's a law. So when God warns you and God gives us the laws and the Holy Bible to protect us, when he said breaking these laws will lead to death, the wages of sin are death, he's trying to protect you. He's being a father. Like a father says, don't stick your hand in the fire because you'll get burned. And then you stick your hand in the fire and you get burned and you say, oh, why did God do this to me? No, God didn't do this to you. God has told us these are the laws. Here's the 10 commandments. Here are the laws. These things lead to death. These things lead to prosperity, abundance, joy, happiness, peace. And yet we choose to say, well, I don't believe in God. So, you know, when you hit the sidewalk, you're going to believe. And folks, the sidewalk's coming. It's time to wake up. But I digress. The point is that here's a Bible verse right here that says the Antichrist is thinking to change time and these laws. He's messing with the laws of physics. He's messing with time. And if you jump up a couple of sentences, it says exactly who this is. Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth. The 4th Reich. That's the 4th Reich. We already saw the 3rd Reich. They didn't succeed. The deep state, the Illuminati, they gave it their best try. You know, Hitler was a Rothschild. We know all this. So they tried that and it didn't work. And we had World War II and we fought them off. But for those of you who have followed this, those of you in the truth movement, and even those in QAnon, they've even been through this, you know that the Nazi theology, the Nazi regime, the 4th Reich is rising again. We call it the deep state or the cabal. And you can see here, when you talk about, you go back to the Hebrew, and every Hebrew letter is also a number. It doubles as a number, and they have meanings. And the number 4 essentially means door or a gate, a doorway, open door, gate, stargate. It's a 4, it's a door. So by them changing this to a 440 frequency, they're obviously opening some gate. And you can see the countdown when it's related to time. These numbers, see, all of it, this is mathematics. If you studied the 369, well, Len Horowitz has some great videos on that. Please go check that out. But anyway, when they change it to 440 hertz, then they're dragging you down. It's a countdown. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So they're bringing you down, 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 down.
Sorry, guys. Oh.
That's time. That's time running out. Now, at the 432 hertz, the original, everything adds up to God's number. Everybody knows 9 is completion. That's the simultaneous reality. And the number of Christ is 8, which is also the infinity symbol. So they've taken us from God's creation of 432 that can be seen mathematically perfect the whole time. The Trinity squared, right? 3 times 3 is 9. The Trinity squared And I'm not just saying that from a hippy-dippy new age point of view. I'm talking math here. The speed of light, the square root of the speed of light is 432. 432. I'll do it right here in front of you. 432 squared. 186,624 miles per second. That's the speed of light. Again, we know everything's made of light. We know that God is light. We have the Trinity squared, the 9, the 432 squared is the speed of light. This is the original. You know, 9, right? 9, the golden ratio. All of creation, number 9, God, the golden ratio. And you know how the Cabal and the occult do it. They flip it upside down and they're the 6. The number of man, the number of the Antichrist, the 6, the 666. You see, in the original language, in Adam's language, in the Hebrew, numbers, letters, the written language were pictographs, much like we still see in the hieroglyphics of Egypt and stuff. But over the years, they became just symbols, lines, and stuff. But they were actual pictures. They were pictographs. So the number 9,
That's right.
this golden ratio, that's the reason it's a number 9. And the same way, the reason why Christ, seated at God's right hand, the number right next to 9 is 8, and that's the infinity symbol. Everything means something. And the occult, they know that. You know, they invert everything. They flip it upside down. Everything is backwards
down
and
or
upside
backwards,
down. To the occult mystery schools, this is how they would invert the golden ratio, and they would show it this way so that it would be a 6.
Of theirs. I've
That's
got your
right.
6. I've got your 6. I've got your 6. I've got your 6. I've got your 6.
I've got your 6.
I've got your 6.
I've got your 6.
And this is what they're doing to retune us. They are literally retuning our DNA. So when we're talking about the speed of light and the speed of light squared, it's no small matter, pardon the pun.
Einstein was a liar.
Because if you understand basic physics, then you understand that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, or at least that's what they tell us. Although the standard
all a
model
lie.
is massively flawed. The reason why we have all this chaos and imaginary numbers and all this complexity is because they have to overcomplicate things because they can't really understand it. But it's really very simple. Speed of light squared. In this dimension, just in this dimension, this is the frequency range of detectable matter for us.
Tesla did
from
do.
where we are.
No.
In our
All right.
perspective.
Here you go. You asked for it. No, Tesla definitely knew, and it was funny because there was a reporter that asked Einstein, "How does it feel to be the smartest man alive?" And Einstein said, "I don't know. You'd have to ask Nikola Tesla." Even Einstein, towards the end of his life, came to realize there must be God because the mathematics that he went through literally were nothing. But whatever. Literally, Tesla knew what the hell was going on. Nobody usually wants to admit that, but it's true.
And those wavelengths change exponentially, very simply exponentially, just like the 432 hertz that we're talking about right now. In the natural music, resonance is the square root of C. And of course, they know this. That's why they're blocking that. That's why they've changed the frequency from the 432. And they're retuning our brains to the 440. So we cannot put together mentally, which
Yep.
I'll show you the science on that in just a
Trying
second.
to make us
It's
retarded.
amazing. Okay,
Have they
but
not
let's
already
stay right
done a
here
good
for
job?
now. So CERN is trying to break the speed of light, just like we've broken the sound barrier, and we have jets that can move faster than the speed of sound. Now CERN has said that they're able to make these particles travel faster than the speed of light. The speed of light only being the speed of light in this dimension, which is why it's not making sense to them, which if you go on in the article, they say, scientists said on Thursday they recorded particles traveling faster than light, a finding that could overturn one of Einstein's fundamental laws of the universe. And see, like I just said, it's not that it overturns anything that we know already. It's just that that's the speed of light in our dimension, in our frequency range. So, scientists have, because they believe in evolution, they can't think big at all. They're these little tiny narrow minds, and they're the pinnacle of all life forms that came from this pond scum. So they think that the speed of light that they've detected for this dimension, for this world we're in, is the speed of light. And when in fact, it's only the frequency range of our particular world, which clearly is not heaven, clearly is not the highest frequency range, the highest world. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of experiments showing the impact that these frequencies have on, say, water molecules or particles in a kymatics experiment, or even on plant life.
Now, this is a widely known phenomenon in regards to sound and how it affects particles, but at least here we can see a difference between the two frequencies. As noted, 432 Hz is less broken, more symmetrical, while the frequency at 440 Hz seems more broken and more distorted. The effects this would have on the human being over a long period of time is of course unknown. But if we use logic and scientific principle, we can know
where have you
because
been, you
there
little
is a
whore?
measurable
Sorry.
change and a visual one, that there must be indeed a change to humans. After all, humans are physical creatures.
Because, of course, the human body is made up of 70% or
Where you
more
been,
of, in
dog? You
fact,
little
water.
slut.
So would this effect
Go see
have
your
an
boyfriend,
actual
is that what you
change
did?
within the physiology itself if the frequency has such a different change within water itself? Well, here is one experiment that someone
It's all
performed.
crazy.
Take a look.
Kind of looks like the shit I get on my APX 900.
But if there is a measurable difference in plant growth, at least if we're using logic, and there's a difference within visual evidence in regards to particles and frequency, as you can see here, then is there a difference? Well, most likely there is a difference.
Now, there's a couple of things I want to break in and point out right here. First of all, in the kymatics experiments, that, like he mentioned, that the lines were broken. There was an actual disruption. Now, the clip I'm going to play next is going to talk about that. They've done other scientific experiments where they have beamed these different frequencies, or actually played music to two different groups, and then had them try to categorize objects. Like, could they put pieces of a together? Could they, given a list of objects, could they group them like, oh, these are all vegetables, or these are all tools, or these, could they make sense of what they were seeing? And that could they put things together? So there's an actual psychological study that backs up the bare science of the kymatics, of the frequency experiment there. Secondly, I want to point out something that pertains to the video that I'm working on now that will go up next week, but I want to get your brain thinking on this. Notice how when the 440 hertz is introduced into this water, doesn't this look like the sun? Think about it. Think about the images of our sun, but look at this and the movement and the flow of it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was eating. I am eating some soup. I apologize about that. Hopefully that wasn't too annoying. But no, I'm glad to respond to you. I'm glad to have you here. The one thing I've noticed, like I've come across many people that I like watching their stuff, this, that. But it almost seems like once they get to a point to where they're too big, unless they know you, you can't even get a word in or have anybody talk about anything. So that is one thing that I like about being small, is I can actually stop. Oops. I can actually stop and communicate and read messages. My brain just saw some shit. I'm mind blown. By me or something else you found? Or was it by what I'm showing here? Okay.
Yes. Because I'm working on a video right now about the true nature of our sun. What is our sun really? And what are the stars really? And spirit orbs. We see them in small form. We see spirit orbs all the time. Ghost hunters get pictures of them all the time. We see what we call, quote unquote, UFOs, these massive orbs, the size of basketballs, the size of a car, the size. We see these orbs in all different sizes in our environment. And the records left by our ancient ancestors have a whole different explanation of what these luminaries are.
Like, God came and divided the waters from the waters, and he spoke and made us. We are a vibration. Nobody really wants to admit that, but we're a fucking vibration.
So I thought I'd just toss this out, food for thought, since we were talking about introducing frequency, sound frequency, into water, and this is the effect that it produces. And we know that coming from all of the stars above us are harmonics. We can detect the harmonics. And that's why, because they're different frequency ranges, we can see, that's a blue star, that's a star, that's a white star, that type of thing. So food for thought. Okay, let's move on.
See, what I laugh is, I don't even remember whether this chick believes in flat earth or not. I don't know. But what I laugh about is things that she's saying, stars aren't stars. But what I am going to say, find what truth you can, and always ask questions and always find your own truth. But use people that you can that do good research and follow them the best that you can. That's what I do. I find people that do good research. And that's your best way, because if not, you're going to fucking spin your whole life around on a spindle wheel fucking trying to figure this shit out.
Scientific American article from 2014 discusses how music changes the way you think and encourages literally different frames of mind. And it starts out basically talking about the arrangement of music and the particular scales that are used.
All right. So, Annie, all right. Okay, well, what I've noticed too with my videos that have been going on, and this has been going on for about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer that I've noticed it, I'll get the same amount of views and it'll just stick there and it'll just stay. But the one thing that I have noticed about you, Annie, is every time I look at one of your videos, you are going up in subs, and that is awesome. But no, I mean, they mess with you, they mess with all of us just because we're trying to speak the truth. They fucking hate it.
Hum the first two notes of the Simpsons theme song. If you're not a Simpsons fan, then Maria from West Side Story will also do. The music interval you're hearing, the pitch gap between the notes, is known as a tritone, and it's commonly recognized in music theory as one of the most dissonant intervals, so much so that composers and theorists in the 18th century dubbed it Diabolus in Musica, devil in music. Is it possible that hearing such isolated musical components could change the way you think? And they go on to describe a study that suggests that indeed it could very much change the way you think.
The specific thing they found in the study was what they say is a relatively new theory known as construal level theory.
Joachim Hansen and Johan Melsner of the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology played them a short, stripped-down piece of music consisting of a series of alternating chords. Some people heard chords including the tritone, others heard the perfect fifth. They asked them to take a list of shopping items and organize them into groups. They would see whether they thought of detergent and paper towels as the same category, but the tritone people formed fewer categories than the perfect fifth people,
And this book, The Sacred Sounds, Transformation Through Music and Word, it has a list of responses to musical harmonies that have been figured out over the years. And a lot of these meanings are also symbolic. They've even been used ritualistically, magically, and they talk about how the perfect octave, I think basically the middle C, it has a feeling of rest. There's a union between the male and the female sides. The fifth, which is a G and a C, stimulates feelings of movement and power, of new life coming forth, a specific sense of rebirth, whereas the third, which has an E and a C, awakens compatibility and resonance, and it has a magical quality to storytelling and embellishment, whatever that means. The fourth has an F and a C, and it announces something new. It specifically hints at
I love you guys.
It awakens feelings of being controlled. It touches at the...
I just want to say I love it, you guys. Definitely freaking communicating back and forth. That's awesome. That's more than anything of what I want. Thank you all for being here. I'm not trying to be a fag or gay. Not like I give two shits if somebody is. But I just want to tell you I love you all and thank you for being here, and keep responding back and forth and having dialogue and looking at each other.
Heart rings it, but it can make some people feel uneasy. The seventh, which has a B and a C, awakens feelings of distance and the need to resolve things. It creates anticipation and drama and the need for direction. And there's also the minor third with an E flat to a C. It specifically carries sadness and depression and a vagueness of direction and disharmony, and so forth and so on. These modes were all worked out back in the Greece days, back with Pythagoras, and then many of them were picked up again by the church, but several of them were not used very often because either they had a taboo quality to them or they were only appropriate for very specific purposes. And so a lot of stuff ended up just coming out in the basic major or minor key. And a lot of these other modes were forgotten over the past couple hundred years, up until the rise of rock music in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and so forth. There's also Aeolian mode. It's a minor scale, very much associated with soulful, passionate appeals to the gods, to meditation, calming, soothing, healing, and every way associated with midnight and moon, magic, and symbolic energy. The scale starts with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And this is identified in songs like Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, Achilles' Last Stand, also by Led Zeppelin, Black Magic Woman by Santana, All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix or Bob Dylan, take your pick, R.E.M's Losing My Religion, Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon, Metallica's Nothing Else Matters, Black Sabbath's Paranoid, Sweet Dreams, the Eurythmics, or the Marilyn Manson version,
I can help
Sarah
you guys find each other.
Building a Mystery. So this stuff is still in use. One of the more suppressed modes, again until the recent explosion of music, is Phrygian mode. This one's associated with the pre-dawn and Venus energy, and it's considered sensual and sultry. It's associated with Latin, gypsy, and flamenco sounds, and it's very sad and lamenting. It invokes lost love, and it also raises passions and sexual energy. So that's a very powerful type. It starts with E, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. This is found in Hallmark songs like Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit, the Pyramid Song by Radiohead, Surfer Girl by the Beach Boys, the Doctor Who theme song, the song Hoodoo by Muse, especially the intro, Pink Floyd Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, Philip Glass's composition Satyagraha. Finally, there's the Locrian mode, which was pretty much banned and suppressed throughout because it's known for being very dissonant, very discordant. And the dissonant tritone, known as a diminished fifth, very much is a controversial kind of music. It's considered that it doesn't stand on its own at all. It's very rarely used in an entire piece, but when it is used, it brings about an accent of disharmony. And it's associated very much in a morning star kind of way with twilight, the time between night and day, and with Mercury, magical, symbolic energy. The scale starts with a B, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And in medieval times, this was the one that was thought to be of the devil, associated with witchcraft, said to be used to create portals. It's really very rarely used, but there's been a few examples. Metallica and I think Black Sabbath have brought it out just to have that kind of devilish tone to it, probably. Wherever I May Roam by Metallica And also Enter Sandman used this very rare mode. The band Stroke put out a song called Juicy Juice, not just for a general sense of emotion, but for very specific usages. This stuff is proving, even in modern times, to be very powerful, to have specific neural effects, and to literally aid in actual mind control. So don't take it for granted.
As always, all of the links will be below. That clip was from Truth Stream Media. That is an awesome documentary. I'll put the link for the full documentary. I hope you do go and watch it. I've also used a few clips from like Plain Truth, Outer Darkness, Galactic News, different places like that. I'll put all the links below, as always. Now, this clip is a clip of John Todd. Many of you have heard of him. He's an ex-Illuminati whistleblower who came out and he talked about the occult practices in the music industry when he was there, and how back then, when they had 8 tracks and everything, they would burn a master copy in the recording studio. And he talked about them taking it into these occult rituals and actually attaching spirits to it on top of everything they were doing with the frequencies, which again goes into the 4/4 open door type magic, if you will. So we don't know what's going on, but they are using these occult sciences on us. So here's his testimony about what was going on all the way back in the 70s and during the Vietnam era.
All day,
I wish I had a half hour to talk about the worst thing that the occult world ever planned out and carried out. And if you want to believe they're garbage, that it's all right, and you want to forget things like Kiss saying that their real name is Kings and Satanic, and that rock music is actually satanic spells being cast and being planned by the Satanist church, and that's a direct quote, then you go right on ahead. Right now, one of the Manson family girls is in trial, and she said the number one thing that the occult world used to brainwash them was Beatle music and rock music. If you want to leave it in your home, I won't go into details why you can't, but if you want to leave it in your home and all the demons that it attracts, fine. If you want your kids to buffalo you, that it's all right. But I recommend you go home today, get a cardboard box, and break the records, and burn those covers, and get it out of your home. And you'd be surprised at how fast your kids come around after they finish doing their 2-year-old tantrum. I wish that I had the time more on rock music, but believe me, it is the work carefully planned out in the occult world. We spent $8 million to produce Jesus rock music and paid the man who started it, named Chuck Smith, just because Christians were destroying rock music and we were afraid that it would be banned from the Christian church. So we carefully put it in the form of Christian rock music. So if they would spend $8 million to keep rock music in your hands, then the hardcore rock must be even worse. And it is. I was the manager of Zodiac Productions, which Zodiac Productions, its name's been changed since then. I'm not even sure what they call it now, but it's the largest music conglomerate in the world. It owns RCA Records, Columbia Records, Motown Records, owns almost all the concert booking agencies in the United States. And that's not even the name of the company that owns it. The name of the company that owns it is Brenner Enterprises, and Brenner Enterprises is owned by Chase Manhattan. Chase Manhattan's owned by Standard Oil, and Standard Oil is owned by the Lords of London. You can track it all back. You kind of get the idea after a while. But I was the managing president of Zodiac Productions. It's one of my jobs as being one of these 13 people. Thus, I got to know many of the people who produce music and sing the music and play the music that you play. The master is a tape about as big as the top of this podium that looks like an overgrown 8-track that the album is cut on and is placed in a machine that produces and presses the records and the 8-tracks and cassettes that you buy. After it's been recorded, it's taken in. This is why a master is cut months in advance before it's released. On the full moon, it's taken in to a temple room about the size of this auditorium that is in every one of the major music companies, behind locked doors up in the executive offices. And it's placed on an altar sitting in the north of the room, and a pentagram engraved in the floor. And 13 hand-chosen witches and wizards and a coven come in and conjure a principality or a power up, usually Regia or something like that, and order him to tell the demons under him to follow every record and every tape coming off of that master. As I tell many Christian parents, you can go home and count your kids' records, probably yours too, and count how many demons at least are there. If that's too hard for you to believe, I'm sorry. That's why they do it. Now listen to me. This is why rock music's addicting. Have you ever seen kids that got rid of their music? They go around like this. They can't wait to find a rock station somewhere and they sneak off just like getting a cigarette or a fix because it's addicting. That's why they can't give it up. The rest of the conversation was this. You can't cast a spell on a Christian, but you can get a Christian to cast a spell on themselves. If you give the permission for the spell to work, being a Christian won't block it. And rock music is not just a song. It is supernatural music, that which is carefully designed by their spirit guides or familiar spirits in the form of spells. Now, although the devil's music's power is the music and God's music is the words, much of the songs are written in what we call witch language. Give you kind of an idea. Many of you talk on the CB, unless you know what a smoky is, and a 10-4, and a front door rocking chair, and these type of things. You don't know what you're talking about. Same with witches. When you're in the first and second level, you have to learn over 2,000 words that said by anybody else means something totally different than when you say them. Elton John has said he's never written a song or sung a song that wasn't in witch language. And I want to show you something. See how many kids in here, be honest, and adults. How many remember and have heard at least several times a song called Hotel California? Somebody tell me what it meant. Quickly, somebody tell me what it meant. Huh? That's pretty close. But from the words, what did it mean? Well, that's more of a guess. See, most people can't tell you. That's why when people do drugs and they listen to songs in which language, they get some of the meaning. But most of the time, they can't tell you. Stop and think how many songs are out there that you really like, and you don't have any idea what the person was talking about.
Now, to people who are still under the trance of this mainstream programming, that sounds ridiculous. So I just want to play this guy's testimony, and it was ridiculous to him. He was completely unsaved and wasn't part of the truther movement. That I'll put the link below. His channel's Dreamcatcher. He posted this in 2015. But the point is, he started having these spiritual experiences, and he had an angel appear to him. He got saved and all this stuff. He ended up having to go to jail to get saved. But the clip I want to show you guys is extremely interesting in light of the John Todd testimony that we just heard. I know the mainstream divides us against one another constantly, and so we don't listen to anybody else. Like, we only are allowed to listen to the mainstream, the professors, the people who broadcast on TV, like that narrative, and they don't want us to listen to anything outside of that official narrative. But if you actually start listening to people, you can put the puzzle pieces together and it all makes sense, and you can see that this stuff is real. Instead of looking at each other and looking at your neighbor and go, oh, you must be crazy, maybe we just listen to one another. Because if we do, you'll see that here's John Todd, who nobody has seen alive in decades, saying one thing, and then this young man from this present decade who's never heard of John Todd or anybody and isn't even a Christian or anything, and he's having this experience that verifies exactly what John Todd said.
I was just sitting there looking at the TV. And just so you all know, people that think like, wow, there's like a lot of subliminal stuff happening on TV that your eye doesn't catches, there actually is. Like when I was in my subconscious or in my spirit, back here in that part of your mind, I could see like really quick, like McDonald's flashes, like just anything, like all kinds of advertising, super quick on the TV. It was so fast that I felt like I was going to have a seizure. Like every time a flash would hit, my head would hurt. Like, it was so painful. I know a lot of you guys believe that there's a lot of subliminal stuff on TV and movies, and there is. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I saw it happen. Like all the quick flashes, quick frames of advertising, words, whatever they want to put on. We were all in a car driving to get his check. I was in my spirit again. Like my body couldn't move. But like my spirit was like more alive than I've ever felt. And my boss like turned on like this rap song on the radio, like Tech 9 or something. And I knew the song, but like it was like a ritual. It was going like 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. There's like a background guy that just kept saying that. And then there was like this spiritual he was like saying all these things that were causing the sky and like everything around me to just like dance in this ritual. and it was like super demonic. Like instantly my spirit knew that like it was really evil and bad, and that I was like under attack basically. In the song and in the clouds, it was like a perfect mix. The song was telling me like, give it up, like this is your one chance to like give out your soul.
Since that era, they've become quite a bit more overt. It's called externalizing the hierarchy. If you've read the books over the last centuries about this cabal and the witchcraft and the Crowleys and Madame Blavatsky and these people, these were the leaders who mentored the occultists in Nazi Germany. And they wrote about this. They outright said that they were going to externalize the hierarchy at one point and make it hell on earth. Like they were going to make it out in the open. And that's precisely what we see right now.
Honestly, all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. Why the fuck is y'all on here if y'all think I sold my soul? Y'all coming right with me, you dummies. It just hit me. Do this favor. Do me a favor. Say his name extremely fast and then ask me, what is it? Lil Uzi Vert, 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 Lil Uzi Vert.
And of course, he has 4.1 million followers on Instagram. 4.1 million souls.
Oh, sorry, guys. Wow, looks like a good timing. No, you know what is really funny and crazy is
If you're
like
putting your house on the market, this is a story you have to see. It could say
even looking at music that I used to like this, that, the other thing, and then it's amazing how much everything changes once your eyes open. You're like, whoa.
I have a good example of how white, liberal, godless children of the lie.
Oh, Jesse. Oh, that's tell me this isn't the funniest thing you ever seen in your life.
A shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Hey, it's me. I love that. Hey, it's me.
Now, before I talk about Mueller, I want to say thanks for people that took time to write a comment on the YouTube team partnership video. And the comments are really amazing. You know, I was reading it and I was like, are they talking about me? Are they talking about my channel? It's, you know, pretty amazing. But anyway, so Robert Mueller got a warning from President Trump last year that going after the Trump organization, it's really a red line because it is not related to the campaign. And, you know, President Trump knows that Democrats want to look at his tax returns and they hope to find something. And at the same time, President Trump knows that Democrats, especially people related to Hillary Clinton, want to destroy President Trump's business, the Trump organization. They really want to hurt this guy so that he will leave the presidency and his company will have been destroyed by the evil Democrats. And so Robert Mueller knows that, and just to make sure, when he did get a heads up from Michael Cohen, who I believe conspired with Robert Mueller to nail President Trump, he handed all of it over to the New York Southern District, and then they got people to go raid the office of Michael Cohen and get the recordings that were there, that Michael Cohen told Mueller were there. and that this would be evidence against President Trump. Now, Robert Mueller handed it over so that he's no longer involved officially, and it is a way to get at the Trump Organization. So not only can they use those taped conversations in some way, it also gave them an in. And when I say they, I mean the whole establishment and the Democrat Party. So they're now using that fact and Michael Cohen to interview the CFO, financial officer of the Trump Organization. And so there you go. So they have an in into the Trump Organization. The next step is investigating any wrongdoing that occurred in the Trump Organization and any kind of deals with any Russians, and that is the purpose. And Mueller can say, hey, I have nothing to do with it. I just, gave a heads up about the Michael Cohen thing, and he did not interfere in that way. And it's all the New York Southern District, and they're just following the leads and the facts, and that's where it led. So they can't help it. They have to follow the and their investigations. And so the end result is that the Democratic Party not only gets all that information from Robert Mueller about how President Trump ran his campaign, what kind of databases they used, how they targeted states, who the donors were, and the emails about how they handled certain situations on the campaign trail. They have opposition research going on. Robert Mueller's the head of it. And they're also now going after the Trump Organization and finding out everything about Trump and ways to take down the Trump Organization. And they're hoping to find the mother lode by looking at the Trump Organization. Now, I have to tell you that this counterintelligence investigation by the FBI started earlier in July 2016. James Comey lied, and Chairman Devin Nunes said as much, and more evidence will come out soon that he also planted several spies in the Trump campaign. But you have to understand, all of these people, especially in the middle of 2016, but also later on, they were all sure that Hillary was going to be the next president. In fact, they were doing everything to exonerate her and to start investigating Donald Trump. And so if Donald Trump was never going to be president, he was going to return to the Trump Organization. And so you have the FBI who are preparing to work under Hillary Clinton, investigating Donald Trump. And now it continues, they're investigating the Trump Organization. So the purpose was originally to destroy Donald Trump after he lost the election, because they were sure he was going to lose, and that's why they were investigating him. When he won, they turned the whole thing around, and it became about undermining him, protecting themselves, while at the same time finding out as much as possible, how did this guy win? And the techniques, the methods, the RNC, everything. But then on top of that, investigating a Trump Organization so that you can attack what President Trump built over the last many decades and destroy it while he's president. And there's nothing that he can do about it. And that's Hillary's revenge. And take note, Michael Cohen, he collaborated or colluded with Robert Mueller and said, hey, I have recordings at home. Let's stage an FBI raid so I don't look guilty. But in the end, it couldn't be helped that everybody sees Michael Cohen as some kind of a snitch or a stoolie or a rat. And right away he hires a lawyer, a longtime Clinton lawyer, Lanny Davis. And so why would you get a Hillary lawyer, a deep and close friend of the Clintons for decades? Lanny Davis is now the lawyer for Michael Cohen. And that tells you all you need to know. So the target is really the Trump Organization. They want to blow it up. while President Trump is president, and they want to hurt him. They really want to hurt him. And Robert Mueller is involved, but he's a coward. He's letting other people do the dirty work, but he's at the source.
Say, all right, all right, all right.
President Trump watches, so maybe he's tuning in to see their chief political anchor hit the hot topics table right now. Please welcome author of the new book, 3 Days in Moscow, Bret Baier. Bret, it's so nice to see you. I loved working with you. So just really quick before we start, your incredible wife, Amy, is here. I am so happy to see you too. You are my couple goals. You know my husband, Ben. We've been married so long, and I love that you have, people need to know you have a really strong woman behind
I definitely do. I'm a lucky man. I'm playing above the rim, as you can see.
Well, is it just the two of you together, or do you have a third person living with you?
I did hear about that.
Right?
I'm not sure.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. We don't, do we, babe? Okay.
No, she's not having it.
Okay, so let's start with the story that we tried to break down, but I failed endlessly at earlier, that Trump disclosed that he repaid his attorney, Michael Cohen, more than $100,000 last year. So is there any version of this payment where Trump didn't do anything wrong?
Listen, Rudy Giuliani came out and said this on an interview with Sean Hannity, and I think that was part of the strategy to get it out there because they knew this was going to be disclosed. I agree with you, Sonny, that there's a lot more questions about money. Ronan Farrow has done some great reporting in New Yorker. There's 2 other payments that they're trying to track down. So I think there's a lot that we don't know yet. On the flip side, there's a lot that we don't know about the start of the investigation, and the IG is going to come out
There
with
is
a
no
report in
going
coming
back.
days that I think also needs to get as much time and coverage and attention.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, okay. Oh God, that fucking demon. All right, you want to see what's okay? You want to see what's fucking okay? This is what's okay. Chicka chicka bounce wow. Oh whoa, looks like 2 big nips. No, you see that? That is the biggest tub. That is, I don't know. I think it's like 2.5, 3 gallons of strawberry ice cream from Leatherby's. Oi, it is the best ice cream in town, my brothers and sisters. Yep, that's what everybody gets to be blessed with tomorrow. How awesome is that? That's kind of the surprise that nobody really knows about. I'm sure they'll appreciate it though. I would hope so.
Only, they're still hung up on leaks at the White House, and they haven't sort of stepped up and made an apology for this ridiculousness that's been going on now.
Really? Why don't you?
As
fucking
the
crazy
man,
fucker?
as the guy who's leading the country.
In the country.
Would you feel better if he stepped up and said, "Listen, this is not what we're doing. We don't condone this."
Yeah,
apologize.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh my God! Virtue signaling, clapping. Oh, it's not the
all
greatest.
aspects of Washington, and as you know, it's very divided in the country. But there is something about decency, and I'm sorry that you and your family had to go through all that this week.
She's okay, but her family is
shouldn't
fucking.
have to
Her
be
dad
that
is
way.
a cunt.
And I think it's important to make that clear. Right. Now, how they handle it and what they do, we're going to cover all sides of it. But I think as a country, we can be decent. It pains us that you.
I think they all should be hung by their toes and burned by the
think it would be a good
closest courthouse.
Just,
and
I'm not
Salt Lake
advising
City.
it. I'm covering it.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I understand, but
disgusting. I don't even know why we're on this. I'm sorry.
Decency, and decency is important.
You're talking
and we
about
have lots of young
decency,
people.
bitch. You would know what decency was if I fucking bit you in the fucking face. My goodness, that fucking cunt acts like she's somebody. Oh my god.
I have a good example.
It makes me want to throw the fuck up. Pardon my fucking French, mate. I'm gonna go with this. You ready? Are you fucking ready?
You can possess one thing that God Himself cannot possess.
Open your fucking eyes, bitches. You're here for a reason, and I love you all. You are here. Open your eyes. Open your fucking eyes and open your fucking ears and listen to this shit. I love you. Listen.
You can possess one thing that God Himself cannot possess. God cannot possess a need, but He requires it of us. You can have something God can't have. Because the law of attraction for God is need. And God was saying when God was saying, I wanted to start activating the law of divine attraction by my people creating in their lives a need. Because
Yeah, I'm a line of Brigham Young. Direct descendant of Brigham Young. My bloodline goes all the way back to the Mayflower. But none of this matters, my brothers and sisters. Every single one of you is here for a reason, and we're all here for a reason. And this is a message I please, with all of my heart, I want you to hear with all of your heart.
I'm not drawn to gifted people. I'm not drawn to complexes and choirs and preachers and ministries. I'm drawn to one thing. If I can find a need, I'm fixing to show up. I don't care if it hair lifts every religious junkie in the world, because Jesus is looking to meet a need. Just give Jesus some needs, and He promises He will be attracted to it. I need to have a guarantee from God when I go home that He's going to show up. And I said, God, what can I do to get you to show up? He said, bring me the hurting. Bring me the messed up. Bring me the dysfunctional. I promise you, if you fill my house with problems, I'll fill my house with presents.
I'm telling you, I'm telling demons, I'm telling devils, and the two preachers that's watching us. It's the Holy Ghost that's kept us. It's the Holy Ghost that's kept us. It's the Holy Ghost that's flowed through us. It's the Holy Ghost that's flowed over us. It's the Holy Spirit that's flowed over us like a river. It's the Holy Spirit that's affixed Himself in our life. It's the Holy Spirit that has said, I'll get you through. I'll pull you through. I am able to do it. I have seen Him knock devils aside and demons aside. This is the rest wherewith He calls us the wilderness to rest. You can write it 100 times over, 1,000 times over. And there's been nobody in history, and I'm not wearing it like some badge. I'm just trying to tell you that there's nothing the Holy Spirit can't do. You don't need Valium. You need the very Holy Ghost. Hallelujah. You don't need another the psychologist. You need Jesus Christ until he walks up and down in the avenues of your heart and the avenues of your life. Somebody said, well, I just don't think he would even be good to you. You poor little empty-headed, airheaded cabbage brain. The only one he can be good to. He can't pick you up unless you're down. He cannot strengthen you unless you're weak. He cannot save you unless you're lost. He cannot fill you until you are empty. He said, I'll fill your hearts to overflowing with the Holy Ghost and with fire. You get a little strong, you might be right, I'll get strong with it. I'm gonna stay strong with it.
You create a need and watch me show up. Let it rain, you won't hear thunder, no lightning. You just create a need and watch me come with a miraculous. See, you're waiting for some dynamic something. This is so simple. I'll tell you, God is saying, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need the video streams. I tell you what, give me a couple of drug addicts. Give me a couple of folks who are going through a divorce, and I'll show up.
Hallelujah, brother.
That's the only encouragement I've got going. What does it take to get God to go from omnipresent to manifest present? What? But see, you're always in the presence of God. He feels.
Like I always say, like I find many people to follow. I'm sorry to pause this, but I just feel like I need to say this. I find many people to follow, and a lot of what they say is very true, and I believe in it, and I love it. But not everything that I take, that everything is said. Look, I feel that we have this problem and this issue of us sitting here and waiting for, Christ to come back and to save everything. And I even think these Satanists and what they're doing, like they're doing it because they know if they destroy the world, this, that, or that Christ will come back. But I think it is such a misconception of what it is. We are the body of Christ, my brothers and sisters. You are the body of Christ. And Christ is coming back. Christ has come back. Christ is coming back in every single one of us. And that is the biggest problem that nobody even comes to understand and see. We are the body of Christ. Christ has already returned, and Christ has returned in us. It is upon us, my brothers and sisters, to save everything that is going on nowadays, because everything is in demonic realms. It is up to you and me and everybody else so we can get to open their eyes. I just had to say that. I'm sorry. I know I'm crazy.
Time and space. But what we need for him is to shake a window, rattle a door, knock over a table. What does it take for God to get in a building and go from invisible to tangible? Now, I know what we'd say, good choirs, good trios, great music. I think that's a blessing. I hope we do the best we can. But I promise you, the reason why there has been such a dynamic display of deity's glory is not because we're good praisers or good singers or even good worshipers, but there's a few thousand needs that have piled into this auditorium, and God is attracted to need. I know it's so simplistic, you don't understand it. God is drawn to needs. What God will step over up to get to somebody that's got a need. He'll walk right by us if he can find somebody that's got a need. And God knows everybody's got a need, but we're not honest about it. We will not say we have a need. So we act like we don't have any. It is seriously, physically, emotionally, and spiritually dangerous to sit on a pew with anybody that's got a real need. But you get somebody next to you who's just got their divorce papers, who just got a cancer report, who just got a pink slip from their job. And while you just kind of go, praise the Lord, they're going to go, ah! Wow! They're going to create a mess. Why? Because they know that there's only one thing that can draw the power of God into that pew. It's somebody to present their need. Anybody got a need? Anybody got a need? And here's what I feel God said to me while all this boogalooing was going on. He said, my people want me, but they don't need me yet. It's not enough for us to believe in God. It's not enough for us to love God. It's not enough for us to want God. You wait till you see the revival breaks out when we decide, I need you. I've got to have you. I can't function without you. When we leave with a level of desperation, if God doesn't help me, I'm a dead duck. I'm gonna try it again. I'm not trying to beat up on nobody. Just listen to me. This is one of the greatest revelations I've ever got. God is not drawn to full. Why? Because the divine law of attraction is that he's attracted to what's empty. He's not attracted to what's right. He's attracted to what's wrong. He's not attracted to what's fixed. He's attracted to what's broken. Was not God's word to Apostle Paul? No, I ain't going to fix you. Why? You might forget me. So instead of fixing you, I'll let you keep a need, because I'm drawn to need and my strength is made perfect. Too many strong folks among us. Too many think we can do it. Too many souls that feel like if somehow the prophet doesn't show up, I'll force my flesh. You heard it. God won't bless that flesh to any kind of great degree. You know why we don't want to say anything about our need? Peer fear. Image keeping. Well, what would they think? Well, can they fix it? No. Then who gives a flip what they can think? Can they give you the victory over that lust, over that habit, over those mistakes? Have they got blood that can wash you? Have they got spirit that can empower you? If they can't do it, forget their opinion. Present your need. I'm getting there. I'm going to give you a textbook. In the beginning. Now that's the proof for all faith. You don't believe that, go get drunk. Now you think I'm kidding you? I mean it. Go get bombed, because you ain't going to be saved. Because everything of faith flows out of, in the beginning, God. God's so secure in his own identity, he don't even explain where he come from or where he went. He just steps as I am. If you can believe that, you can believe for the supernatural. You can believe that Jericho's walls come down and Jordan's river rolls back and the Red Sea parts. If you can believe 4 words, in the beginning, God. That's the lock and key of all faith. Sit down just a second.
This is a good one.
Don't get accustomed to your pit. Don't get accustomed to living in fear and dread. Don't get accustomed.
All right, give me a second. I'm gonna shut the garage. All right, this is a really good one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Amen. I love you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Don't get accustomed. accustomed to your pit. Don't get accustomed to living in fear and dread. Don't get accustomed to living in the fear of the past or the present. Don't make a pit your homestead. Don't get accustomed to your miserable marriage. Every marriage can be a better marriage. The Bible says, husbands, love your wives even as Christ loved the church. Don't get accustomed to your pit. Don't get accustomed to living in fear and dread. Don't get accustomed to living in the fear of the past or the present or the future. Don't fear other people. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear sickness. God has said, the Bible has said, God has not given us a spirit of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear. Two words that Jesus used most in his ministry were fear not. Fear not death, because I am the resurrection and the life. Fear not sickness, because I am the great physician. He has healed cancer. He can heal you of cancer. He has healed heart disease. He has healed diabetes. And if you have those diseases, I want you to hear this. There's a healer in the house, and he can heal you today. Do not fear your past. It is forgotten and forgiven. Do not fear your future. It is in the hands of God. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. And because it's God, everything's going to be all right. Don't fear failure. The Bible says, I will give you houses you didn't build. I will give you vineyards you didn't plant. I will give you wells you didn't dig. I will make you the head and not the tail. I will give you streams of living water. Your leaf shall not wither, and your fruit shall bear in its season, and whatsoever you do shall prosper. For it is the Lord who will give you the power to get wealth. Hallelujah to the Lamb of God. God's will is, beloved, I wish that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. The will of God is this, for you do not know, says the Lord, the good things that I have planned for you, the things to bless you, the things to anoint you, the things to release you. I have put my angels before you to prepare the way for you, and behind you to be your rear guard. I will give you the word to speak in due season. Give you wisdom if you will ask for it, because I have anointed you as the righteous of God to walk in the favor of God. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad. You are mine and I am yours. Hallelujah to the Lamb of God. I want you to look in Scripture how quickly God promotes. Joseph went from the pit to the palace in a day. Daniel went from the lion's den to the palace of the king in a day. David went from the caves of Saul to the palace of Jerusalem in a day. Jesus went from the cave of Joseph of Arimathea, where he was buried, in the twinkling of an eye. I'm telling you, you're next in line for a promotion, and when God pushes the button, it's not going to take 20 years. It's not going to take 20 days. Happen in a day, for God will bless you exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. Winston Churchill said something that ought to be in the Bible. He said, when you're going through hell, go straight through it. Remember this. When you're going through hell, go straight through it. Remember this. There is no prize without a cost. There is no crown without a cross. There is no dawn without a night. And there is no victory without a fight. Don't look at what you're going through. Look at what you're going to. Don't look at the pit. Look at the palace. Don't look at the crisis. Look at the Christ. Every trial leads to triumph. Every tear leads to joy unspeakable that's full of glory. Every detour leads to a paved highway. Every parting leads to a greeting. Every midnight leads to a glorious sunrise. Every tunnel has a light shining at the end. Don't look at what you're going through. Look at what you're going to. Jesus has given you the world. Live like it, act like it, think like it in Jesus' name. God does not ask for you to defend him because he's almighty and he does not need it. God does not ask you to understand him because your intellect is far too inadequate to understand God. Therefore, God does not ask you to explain him, because if you can't understand him, you cannot explain him. God has only said, trust me. The Bible says, trust in the Lord with all of thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding. In all of your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Those of you here and those of you who are watching by television, climb higher, climb higher. Don't get in that pit and make it your home. Rise and shine, for the light of God's glory has come. Get out of that pit and go for the palace. Your promotion is on the way. Your breakthrough is here. The pain of the past cannot cannot be compared to the pleasure of the future. Don't get accustomed to your pit. Don't get accustomed to living in fear and dread. Don't get accustomed to living in the fear of the past or the present or the future. Don't fear other people. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear sickness. God has said, the Bible has said, God has not given us a spirit of fear. God has given us a spirit of fear. Two words that Jesus used most in his ministry were fear not. Fear not death, because I am the resurrection and the life. Fear not sickness, because I am the great physician. Lift your head, square your shoulders, put a grin on your face, shout hallelujah. God,
Hallelujah.
God, and something good is about to happen to you. When you're
No matter what, my brothers and sisters, no matter what fear that you have upon you, listen, they're coming for us. We are hunted. We are wanted men and women. We are wanted. We will have our heads chopped off, or we will be crucified. The sooner you recognize that's your fate, the sooner you can come to the realization that they can't scare you anymore. Come to the realization that you know that your head will be chopped off or that you will be crucified. Come to this realization, my brothers and sisters, please. Because as soon as that comes over you and you realize you're willing to do that and have that be done to you, they cannot scare you no more. I love you so much. Thank you for being here.
down to nothing, God is up to something. How many of you can remember the worst day ever, the blackest black you have ever known, the lowest low you can remember? God is controlling your life. The Bible says the steps of a righteous man are ordered of God. I am here today to tell you straight from heaven that God is ordering your steps right now so you can reach your divine destiny. The thing you don't understand, God will explain in his own time as you climb the stairway to the stars. God has intended from the first day you ever breathed breath. Right now, he's guiding you to the husband of your dreams. Right now, he's leading you to the wife of your dreams. That ought to make some of you dance for joy. He's about to open the doors for you that have been closed a long time. Now he's directing your steps toward the opportunity of a lifetime that's going to cause you to explode with unlimited possibilities. Your cycle of adversity is over. You have gone from the pit to the prison, but now God is getting ready to turn the fountains of fortune and bring you into the palace where you deserve to be. He is going to make you a person of distinction. The adversity is over. Your tour of the pit and the prison have been finished. God's favor, God's grace, God's abundance is about to be poured out upon you. Showers of blessing that you cannot contain. Child of God, lift your head, square your shoulders, smile until every tooth in your head shines. God's about to expand your territory and bless you indeed. Give him praise and glory in the house of God. Point here is that God does everything on his exact time. God does everything in his time. He's never 4 days late. His time and your time is not the same time, but when God gets there, he's on time and he does it his way to his glory and benefit. Start at the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, not sometime, but with stopwatch precision. The hand of God caused the universe to explode. He opened the fountains of the deep, and the Bible says in Genesis, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day the flood came. Not sometime, but in his time. In his time, God sent his son Jesus to the earth through the womb of the Virgin Mary in Bethlehem's manger. The Word of God records it this way. And when the fullness of
of time had fully come, Mary brought forth her fourthborn child and laid him in a manger. God sent his son to earth with a stopwatch precision. God does everything in his time. In his time, he's going to answer the prayer that you're praying today.
One second,
he's going to send the miracle that you're asking for. If you can believe, all things are possible to those that have believed. Not sometime, but in his time. In his time, he's going to deliver your drug-addicted child. In his time, he's going to cause the child that you're praying for to be conceived in the womb that has been barren. In his time, he's going to give you the perfect job that you so richly deserve. In his time, he's going to heal your broken marriage and fill you with joy and happiness like you have never. He's going to walk with you through the pit and through the prison and bring you to the palace, and you are going to know the unlimited favor of God. In his time, the mountains of impossibility are going to be gone if you have faith like the grain of a mustard seed and say to this mountain, be thou removed. It will move. Do not say what might happen. Say the Lord is my help, my fortress, my redeemer, and God is on his way. Something good is about to happen to me.
Oh, whole bunch of good stuff. Thank you for being here from Mr. Mahapa Bertha. Yeah, you missed it. It was some really good stuff.
I didn't say you are, though. I can say nigga if I want to, bro.
Oh, all right. Let's look at arrogance. Here we go. We're gonna look at real arrogance.
When I talk and use the word I use it. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. What's up? What you gonna do? Get out of my face. We're deep right here. Get out of my face.
You ready for real arrogance of our world?
Get out of my face.
There you go.
Get out of my face.
Those people already. Oh well. Just want to show some real arrogance.
Hey, he's a Marine! Back. Don't tell me. Hey, he's a Marine. He's a Marine. Show some respect. Hey,
Watch this shit. Watch this guy come in. Look. Boom! Just like kicks him and punches him. These are the cunts that we're dealing with. The pathetic disgraces of the world that we're fighting against. This is what we're fighting against. Arrogant morons that don't have the balls to fight.
Welcome to New Unrealist. I'm recording this on Thursday. This wild scene went on last night, July 26, 2018.
Yeah.
It was on Hollywood Boulevard out in La La Land in the People's Republic of California.
I thought this was
this
going
insane
to
and a violent assault.
be something else that it was not. Sorry, guys. That's alright. It is what it is, right?
I didn't say you are.
Is what it is. Give me 2 seconds. I got something for you guys.
The trade deficit, very dear to my heart because we've been ripped off by the world.
I gotta admit, that was a really good speech, but I won't even go there with that. Unless you guys want.
I'm sure that many of you are already aware that there's been.
She does a good job, but I think we already went over that.
I didn't say you are, though.
I'm sure that many of you are already.
Son of a bitch. Already got that one. Alright.
Hey everybody,
Yeah,
how's it
does a
going?
good
Welcome
job.
into Anti
There we
School,
go.
the coolest corner of the internet. You made it. I'm your host, Isaac Green. You didn't learn this in school. What we're going to cover today is how the Democrats are leaning far and far more left towards socialism, communism, according to Alexandria Cortez, right? She's this Democrat. She's coming up. She's a democratic socialist, whatever that means. She's got socialist dogma written all over it. She's got Bernie Sanders 2.0 written all over it. And this is the real danger to America, is communism. So let's look into what Cortez actually has to say about how she's going to pay for all this stuff that she's talking about. In a renewable energy economy, she says she wants a carbon tax, meaning what I'm breathing out right now is carbon. We're going to tax that, right? Which is just energy. She wants trillions of spending. She went on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Listen to her talk about how she's going to pay for this with more taxes, right? The Democrats just want to tax the hell out of everyone. Let's check it out. Really unbelievable stuff.
If you reverse the Republican tax deal, that's only going to make up 5% of what we need to pay for Medicare for all. You know, how do you pay for education for all? How do you pay for all of these ideas?
So this is an excellent question, and in fact, there's a lot of back of the envelope stuff based on our values. So, for example, I sat down with a Nobel Prize economist last week. I can't believe I can say that. It's really weird, but one of the things that we saw is if people pay their fair share, if corporations and the ultra wealthy, for example, as Warren Buffett likes to say, if he paid.
Let me just stop it right here. This is complete nonsense and gibberish saying pay the fair share, but really all she's saying is to raise the corporate tax. Okay, let her keep going. Basically just showing you guys this. I know it's not fun to watch. It's really an eyesore. It's actually embarrassing if you think about it, how incoherent her thoughts are, but let's let her continue because she's an up-and-comer on the Democratic Party and she's got a huge platform already, unbelievably so, but she does. She really does.
As much as his secretary paid, 15%, if he paid a 15% tax rate, if corporations paid, if we reversed the tax bill, but raised our corporate tax rate to...
I'm sorry, what? What is she?
28%, which is not even as high as it was before.
Right.
If we...
Oh, raise the corporate tax, right.
If we do those two things and also close some of those loopholes, that's $2 trillion right there. That's $2 trillion in 10 years. And it's one of the wide estimates is that it's going to take $3 to $4 trillion to transition us to a 100% renewable energy economy. So we got $2 trillion from folks paying their fair share, which they were not paying before the Trump tax bill.
Right.
They weren't paying that before the Trump tax bill. If we get people to
what do you mean by renewable energy economy? What exactly are you talking about?
To pay their fair share, that's $2 trillion in 10 years. Now, if we implement a carbon tax on top of that, so that we can transition and financially incentivize people away from fossil fuels, if we implement a carbon tax, that's an additional amount of.
So let me just cut her off there. The Democratic plan, it seems like it's moving towards making us all debt slaves, making us all taxed, extremely high tax, trying to make a renewable energy economy that she didn't even explain in the first place, and that's the least of our worries. That's the crazy lunatic left that's been kind of growing under the Democratic Party with some dissent, actually. If you see here, check this out. This is a tweet from James Comey. Democrats, please don't lose your minds and rush to the socialist left. This president and his Republican Party are counting on you to do exactly that. America's great middle wants sensible balance and ethical leadership. So you see people that are at least a little bit in reality. I wouldn't say James Comey is in reality, but he can see that socialism isn't the way for the left to win, right? In America, this is the capitalist society of America, and they're running on socialist ideals. And people like James Comey are seeing this as a negative factor. So we've got the crazy lunatic left. We've got people like James Comey that are letting them, what are you guys doing with socialism, right? What are you guys exactly trying to accomplish? But it gets even worse. Let's look at some of the other contenders for 2020. There's an interesting list of people that have been showing up. We've got Eric Holder, right, from the Obama administration, not much better, completely bought out corporate puppet, right? We've got Kamala Harris. She's leading potential 2020 Democratic contenders in Facebook ad spending. We've got Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, as they call her. She claims to be a Native American, if you guys believe that. But also Joe Biden, this guy Booker, and Bernie Sanders. We all know Bernie Sanders from 2016 got screwed by the DNC. because of the super PACs, and they wouldn't allow him to run against Hillary Clinton. And then we've got the elephant in the room. Will Hillary persist in 2020? Her actions suggest yes. And the reason why I do think this is an actual possibility, there's not a lot of good things that could happen with all of these possibilities. First of all, you've got the crazy communist left that wants to tax your energy, that wants to put the corporate taxes higher after Trump already cut them in the first place, allowing our economy to grow to 4% GDP. You know, no one thought he could actually do it, but he cut the taxes and got it done. And now they want to completely reverse that. I mean, that's predictable.